Hi, everybody. Peace and light, y'all. I hope that y'all are well. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my nail. My nail just chipped. I'm like, I hope that y'all are well. I have 7,000 subscribers now. I'm so excited. Really more than 7,000, y'all. It's like, I think it's like 7.1 or something like that. I am so hype about that. I really hope. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like distracted. I hope this lipstick situation lasts. Let me tell y'all. Okay, first I had on like a nude, and then I felt like I looked washed out with the nude. So then I threw a red on top of it, but the red was old, so it wasn't going on right. And then I put a gloss on top. So it's a lot happening right here. So I got a napkin in case things get a little crazy. Because last time, hey Justin, last time I was on live was when I did the Black is King live. And in that live, y'all, I went back and watched it. First off, after I got off the live, I went and looked in the mirror, right? And I had so much caked up lip gloss. It was like white. All right there, y'all. I was looking like Ashley Larry out here in these streets, and ain't nobody tell me. Y'all did not put me on. Y'all could have been like, Queen, get your lip gloss. I would have zoomed in. Y'all didn't tell me. I was out here looking all the way crazy. I was. So, but it's all right though. But I hope this situation lasts. I got my napkin because I'm prepared today. Okay, here get a little crazy. I'm a dab. Okay. But yes, y'all, I'm at 7,000 subscribers. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited and so hype about that. Like, y'all, I really couldn't even believe it. I could not even believe it. To me, it was just like, I don't know, y'all. This whole experience, this whole journey has just been crazy. Like just doing YouTube and just like really sharing myself more and putting myself out there and taking a chance. You guys, like a lot of people would not believe it, but I am such a shy person. I have always been very shy. When I was young, I opened up a little bit about it on Instagram. When I did like my 7,000 subscribers, I'm so happy post. And I shared how like when I was younger, I used to be so ashamed of my voice because I had a deep voice for a girl. You know, a lot of people expect women to speak, very like, hi, I don't know how to describe it, but very much in a higher, more feminine tone, right? And I always had like a deep, huskier voice. And I used to be ashamed to speak to the point that like my mother, some of her friends and stuff said that they was like, we thought you had this problem or something when you was young because you did not talk. People thought I had issues. But it really, like a large part of it was number one, I was super duper shy. And number two, I was so ashamed of my voice. And it took years really to like overcome that. I write poetry. I'm a poet, and I wouldn't share my poetry because I didn't really like the sound of my voice. And I wouldn't try to change my voice because there was nothing I could do about it. But I did notice a difference between my voice and a lot of other women. So that like played a large role in me just like taking so long to be open and just share myself and share how I feel and just my thoughts and stuff. So me stepping out, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Me stepping out and really doing YouTube and deciding to open up was just like one step in a long journey of just like self-acceptance and confidence and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And like really just like believing in myself. So to see the platform grow like this has just been surprising. My last reintroduction video that I did was January of 2019, so January of last year. So that's a year and 8 months ago. I recorded that video and posted that video, and so much has changed in my life since then. At that time in that video, which you can still see on like my main screen page of my YouTube, in that video, I was so excited because I had 500 subscribers. I was like, y'all, I think it's like 500 of y'all. I was super duper hyped. And just to think a year and 8 months later, a year and 8 months, it's at over 7,000 subscribers, which for me, I'm so beyond grateful for because I just really like, I didn't have any expectations of going into YouTube or like going into this journey. I really didn't even know a lot about YouTube like that. Like I wasn't a frequent user of YouTube at that time. I didn't really get into like exploring YouTube and utilizing YouTube as much as I do now, especially. I'm on YouTube all the time now. But I didn't get into it until I was in Africa. So I really didn't expect anything out of this journey. I just saw it as another platform to share myself and to share my journey, where I can like post videos and like, really just like share the information I knew. A large part of me too wanting to share was just the fact that as a holistic wellness practitioner, I've taken a lot of courses and I've studied a lot and I've invested a lot of time and energy in learning a lot of information that could help heal people. And as a healer, something that I really want people to know and understand is that you have the power to heal yourself. And a lot of people just are not aware of the tools to use and how to access or tap into different aspects of themselves that could really help them heal so that they can manifest at their highest supreme energy. Like, I am truly a believer that we all have the power to manifest at our highest supreme energy, and that is how we will achieve world peace. I'm still one of those crazy people that believe that world peace is possible, and I think that's how we can do it. I think if everyone was just tapped into their highest supreme energy, it would be such a peaceful place, because we would all realize how connected everything and everyone is. We would all realize how much we need each other, how much we depend on each other for wellness. You know what I'm saying? And we would all be striving for wellness. Therefore, we wouldn't do anything that would go against our wellness. And when you don't do things that go against your wellness, you'll find that those things also don't go against other people's wellness as well. And I just really feel like if we just all were, had access to the information to heal ourselves so that we can strive to get there, we would be much better. So that was really my intention. My intention is just like sharing on YouTube, just sharing healing things and like, everything dealing with healing, I guess. I truly believe that we are all healers. We are all healers. You just have to find your method. What is your way that you heal people? We are all healers. That is all of our purpose, is to heal, is to be well, is to help others be well. We just have to tap in and find out what is our method that we use to heal. So you may be a healer by being an herbalist. You may be a healer by being a doula. You may be a healer by being an author, being a writer, sharing information, a historian, someone who passes things on through oral tradition and documents history and journeys. You may be a healer in so many different ways. There's so many ways that you can heal people. Justin Lewis, okay, I got you with the book recommendations. There's so many different ways that you can heal people. So I just think we all just have to kind of tap into that. And so since I've been on YouTube, I've shared a lot of that information, just like a little background information about me and my holistic wellness practice. I am a doula. I've been a doula for 2 years now. 2 years, like certified doula for 2.5 years. I've been practicing on the side, I've been practicing without being certified since 2014. I spent 6 months in Ghana in 2014, and while I was there, I actually had the privilege of learning a lot about birth work, and I would secretly sneak off and volunteer at a birthing clinic. Because I didn't want the professor, I was studying abroad, I didn't want the professor that was with us to know that I was doing it. So I really was like doing all of this in secret and going off to the birth clinic and like, learning about birthing and learning about doula work and midwifery and all that other stuff. And like, so I've been, dabbling in it since then, but I actually became, donor certified and practicing in 2018, January 2018. So that's a large part of who I am. I'm also an herbalist. I've been working with herbs since I was a child, but really like detailed studying herbs for too many years to count now. Definitely like way over a decade. What else do I do? I am a spiritualist. I'm a spiritual consultant. I have a infinite spiritual gift, a very unique spiritual gift, which I probably share more about at another time. But so I'm a spiritual consultant, mental wellness practitioner, and coach. I do a lot of mental wellness work. My degree is in applied behavior analysis, so that's like a little bit of my background. I also have a master's in education, so I tie both of those things together, and just like a lot of other stuff. I'm also striving, keyword striving, to become a plant-based eater. I've been vegetarian for over 7 years now. Over 7 years I've been vegetarian. pescatarian because I eat fish sometimes. Like once in the blue moon, I eat fish, but that's it, and that's once in the blue moon. And I go in and out of fish, but I'm striving to become more plant based. Striving. So you'll see me sometimes post like what let's eat stuff and like post little plant based recipes. Especially if you follow me on Instagram. If you follow my Instagram, you definitely see like I not always, but quite often post like cooking stuff and recipes. I also have a highlights. You know how they have the little highlight circles on your Instagram page? I have a highlights little circle with cooking stuff. So you can go back and like look at some of the recipes and stuff like that on there. I post that stuff on Instagram way more than I post that on YouTube. Yeah, and then I'm also like very I don't want to say I'm very like I enjoy African American history, Black history, Black culture, African American culture, African culture, and all of the diaspora. I don't know how you say that word. Is it diaspora or diaspora? But Black folks from a little bit everywhere. Okay, I like knowing Black history from everywhere, from the Caribbean to Africa to everywhere, to Black people in Europe. I'm actually right now studying the Black experience in Europe, right? So, because if you have ever been to Europe, you'll know that every city in Europe has a Black neighborhood, right? They have, just very much similar to America where it's like very segregated. You got your area where the Black people live. Like when I was in Paris, it's called Chateau Rouge. And I was in Chateau Rouge, which is beautiful, but a lot of, African people live in Chateau Rouge, and that's like the space where all the Black people in Paris go. That's like where they live. You go to these other districts and you won't really find that many Black people, but Chateau Rouge is where the Black folks go. When I was in Italy, there was a Black neighborhood in Italy. And I went, so I've really like been taking time to study the Black experience in Europe because I feel like we don't talk about it enough. And what really sparked my interest in that was the whole controversy that people had a while back with, I don't know the actor's name, but the British actor who played Martin Luther King in Selma, Cynthia Erivo playing Harriet Tubman. A lot of people had issues with them doing that, and they were Black Brits, as some people call them. But their whole thing was like, well, we're Black too, and although we're not African American, we're Black too, so we should have a right to play these figures, historical figures. And I've shared in the past how I felt on that, but that's what really sparked my interest in studying the Black experience in Europe. So that's what I'm studying right now. But yeah, so that's just like a little bit about my interest and my background and like what I do. I was an educator in a traditional school setting for 5 years. I started 2014 teaching at the New York City Department of Education, with the New York City Department of Education, DOE, in 2014. And I took a year off because I repatriated back to Africa, which is where I was January when I recorded that video, the reintroduction video. And then I came back and I taught for a little while, and then I started my own business. So that's where I am now. Now I have my own business that's solely centered in holistic wellness coaching and just sharing a lot of information about holistic wellness, a lot of one-to-one consultations and stuff like that. That's what I do. I also have the wellness community. So that's just like a little on who I am. But my intentions with this live is like to really like answer some of y'all questions, get a little more personal, and like share, a little bit more about my journey. I guess stuff that y'all don't already know. I always tell my business. Okay, I tell a lot of my business in my videos. But I guess there's something, because I get DMs and stuff, a lot of DMs on Instagram with people asking like personal questions, or some people people like will DM me and say, I want to ask you this, but I don't know how you feel. I want to ask you that, but I don't know how you feel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But they'll, I don't know if you feel comfortable with me asking. And y'all, I'm very much an open book. Like sometimes I'm a little too open. I be telling all my business. I'm a type of person. My mother used to always say, if you can't stand in the middle of the street and scream it, don't do it. She used to always tell me that since I was a little girl. If you can't stand in the middle of the street and scream about it, don't do it. And because I live by that philosophy, I am an open book. I talk a little bit about everything. I've went live before and talked about everything, okay? Personal stuff, from like sex life to past relationships, all of that stuff. What's my sun and moon sign? My sun sign is Aquarius, my moon sign is Capricorn. So I'm an Aquarius. February 10th is my birthday. My moon sign is Capricorn. But yeah, so I really don't mind, like sharing, like anything you want to ask me. But some stuff I will say, you guys, some questions that I get, I've answered quite a bit, and I don't mind. That's your sister's birthday, February 10th. Ooh, Aquarius. Okay, Capricorns. Let me tell you about Capricorns. I love a good Capricorn, okay? I feel like, I guess because this is my moon sign, I feel like we mentally connect very, very well. But yeah, anyway, some of the questions that I get, y'all, in my DM, I've answered before. So like a lot of lock questions about like locks and stuff like that. I have at least 20 or more videos on locks. And you guys, nothing has really changed. Like, I can't really say nothing's changed because I do try like random stuff. Like, I recently bought some Dr. Savy Sea Moss soap from Savy's Daughters, who I promoted before on my page. I recently tried the sea moss soap in my locks, so I could talk about that. But y'all, really, like, I use the same stuff in my hair I've been using for years, so with the wash tutorials and people want to know what I wash my locks with, I have videos about all that stuff on my YouTube. So you can just like type in the TheQueenPo wash or the TheQueenPo oil or whatever, moisturize, or anything dealing with locks. I probably have discussed it in the video before. Have I astral travel before? Absolutely. All the time. Astral travel all the time. But yeah, I've discussed all of that. So some things you can find on my YouTube, okay? Some stuff you can already find. I don't mind answering the questions again. I definitely will, like, I'll look at the DM and I may answer the question again. But sometimes I'll say, y'all, it's on my YouTube, okay? It's on my YouTube. Let me see. I'm trying to read y'all questions at the same time. Let me go all the way back. Because I think Justin asked me about book recommendations. As far as book recommendations, I definitely, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. You said I look beautiful, I appreciate that. Thank you, my energy is oozing through. Y'all are so sweet to me. I'm telling y'all, y'all are just so sweet. I'm very, very grateful for that. Thank y'all so much. You was shy when you was young. Listen, super duper shy and still very, very shy. I'm still very, very shy. Like, some people see me in public. I've had people say, oh, I saw you at such and such, especially at like Afropunk or large festivals and stuff. I love a good festival. I go to Afropunk every year. That's like my thing. So especially at Afropunk and stuff, people will be like, oh, I saw you in public, but I didn't want to speak. And I may, like, if you see me in public, I may have a straight face. I feel like I don't look mean, but some people don't, if they don't see you smiling, they think that you mean. But I'm really just a shy person, you guys. Like, I'm talking about, people speak to me, I start shaking, okay? Sweating, okay? So I'm very I don't know. Yeah, I'm a very shy person to this day. I've gotten a lot better with it. Like, as you get to know me very much, of course I get comfortable, but at the beginning of meeting people, I'm super duper shy. Let me see. The books. Okay, so book recommendations. It depends on what you want book recommendations for. I can literally list some of my favorite books. I always talk about The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Hands down, my number one book recommendation. That's like the book that I give to all of my friends, anybody who I'm dating. I'm like, have you read The Alchemist? No, here's a copy. You should read it. It's a very short book. I think it's like 120 pages, maybe, if that. The audio version is only an hour and a half, less than an hour and a half, I think. The Alchemist, hands down, is a life changer. So many deep lessons. It's a simple story about a young boy on a journey to find his treasure, but the treasure is like a metaphor for, living out his personal legend and fulfilling his purpose and stuff like that. So if you are on a journey of figuring out what your purpose is or how to live out your purpose, that is a great book. If you are starting a spiritual journey, starting a mental wellness or healing journey as a whole, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is hands down my go-to book of starting a spiritual journey. When it comes to mental wellness, I like mental wellness and spirituality. The Seven Spiritual Laws by Deepak Chopra is a great one. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz is also a great one. What else? I'm very hesitant when recommending like books on spirituality, honestly, because a lot of people don't know this, but in the spiritual world, right, a lot of stuff is sacred practice. Sacred practice. So you hear the term sacred, and people think that, like, I don't know what people think, but sacred, a lot of stuff is sacred. A lot of people don't share like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't, you can't really open up about too many details when it comes to spirituality, especially like with hoodoo, voodoo, santeria, stuff like that. Like, a lot of stuff is sacred information. So when it comes to like, there isn't a book that I can recommend that I say that I even personally trust, because there are some stuff like, I recommended one book in the past. I don't want to say the name or the author because I love the author and she's an amazing EI. She's an amazing spiritualist. EI is like mother. It translates to mother, but she's an amazing spiritualist. But in her book, and I've talked to her several times in person, she put what she calls coded language, so that the only way you will know what she really means is if you actually already are aware of what she really means, kinda, if that makes sense. Which I think a part of me disagrees with that because, when you put out a book about spirituality and there are people seeking information on spirituality, people are going to follow exactly what you say. Exactly what you say. So I don't think I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't think I see why they do it because her whole philosophy is, some things are sacred and that's how you could tell the real from the fake and all that. And I get that. But I also get the side of people who are just seeking knowledge and seeking information and seeking wisdom. And you get a book from an elder and you hope that they just gonna give it to you straight. But really, they like sending you on a game of sorts. And you'll find that a lot in spirituality. When you consult with certain people, they'll tell you stuff in like code or sometimes like in like riddles, and you kind of got to figure it out. Or sometimes they'll tell you to do something and it sounds right the way they're saying it. They may say like, oh, burn a white candle. Yes, you go through a maze. They may say like, burn a white candle and say this and write this down and da-da-da-da-da. And really, they have an entirely different meaning for what you're supposed to be doing, or you're supposed to actually do something else, but they tell you these things because they're trying to check your spiritual connection. You know what I'm saying? Well, your spirit guides will tell you that really you're supposed to be doing this. If I tell you to go to the river, your spirit will tell you which river you're supposed to go to, or river, like, there's a lot of stories like that, and some of them, some of our elders brag on stories like that. They brag on, oh, I told this one girl I ain't gonna say too much detail because some of y'all, this elder, she brags about this story a lot. A lot. You probably could find videos of her bragging about this story. But essentially, in a roundabout way, she told somebody to go do a ritual at a river, and she didn't make it plain enough for the girl, and the girl fucked her whole life up. Okay, lost everything. Okay, and people don't, So anyway, that's how there's not really a book about spiritual practices and spirituality that I could really say like, if you want to start practicing, this is the book that you follow. If you want to start doing this is the book that you follow. No, there's not necessarily a book that I can say that. For me personally, a lot of my information, it comes from family, comes from close elders, family, friends. I was blessed to be born into a very spiritual family. So I grew up around a hoodoo family, you know what I'm saying? My family, if y'all don't know, I was born in Brooklyn, but I was raised between Brooklyn, New York, Richmond, Virginia, and Augusta, Georgia. So I moved a lot. A lot growing up. My family is Geechee. On my mother's side, my family is Geechee. On my father's side, they are Panamanian. So growing up around my mother's side of the family, and having that that good Geechee hoodoo experience. You know what I'm saying? We had ancestor altars in the house growing up. We had smoke bowls and we burnt sage and we did all of that other good stuff, you know what I'm saying, growing up. So I recognize that I'm blessed to have had that wisdom passed down to me from a very early age. And because of that, I share as much as I can and make it as plain as I can. So especially like, you know, in the wellness community, I post videos about specifically about spirituality and explaining a lot of spiritual stuff. And I constantly say, like, take your time. And I can promise you, like, I'm not going to send you on a riddle. I'm not going to send you on no wild goose hunt or, you know, tell you to do something that you shouldn't be doing. My main intention with my YouTube channel and with like me talking about spirituality, honestly, is to make it plain. And I want to give people the information that, you know, I said in the video before, but me tapping into consciously and intentionally, because like I said, I grew up around it, but similar to people who go to church or, you know, who grow up going to the masjid or, you know, any type of the synagogue, whatever. When you grow up with it, it's just kind of like what y'all do. It's just kind of regular. It's kind of normal. And then there comes a point in your life where you start to do it for yourself intentionally. So you are aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. You are mindful. You know, you start studying and start researching. And I recognized that once I became an intentional practitioner, that is when I really was able to tap into my abundance and tap into my clarity and tap into my wellness and start manifesting as my highest supreme energy. And I want everyone who is ready and prepared to be able to do that. I believe that it's not my job to determine who's ready and who ain't, who's fit for it and who ain't. That's the universe's job. My job is just to share the knowledge and share the information that I've been blessed with. You know what I'm saying? So what you do, and you know, and how you do it and how you manifest, I believe is between you and the universe. I'm not a person who's like, you know, you ain't ready for this, so you don't need to be doing this. No, even like in the wellness community, I always say, don't move on to the next video if you don't feel like you're not ready. If you don't want to build your leg by altar, if you're not ready for the leg by altar, don't do it. You know, if your spirit is not leading you to have your yay altar, don't do it. If you don't want to add this and add that, or you don't want to do this spiritual work, don't do it. Like, you have to really figure out what's best for you. And it's not up to me or any Iya, any Babalawo, or anybody to determine what's best for you. That's between you, your spirit guides, the universe, and God. That's how I feel. So yeah, book recommendations, because that was way off from book recommendations, but we got there. So yeah, I think I gave 3: The Alchemist, The 7 Spiritual Laws by Deepak Chopra, and Don Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements. And then I also read, like, I grew up reading African American fiction books. Sister Soldier, hands down, one of my great favorite authors. Sister Soldier, the coldest winter ever. Thank you, Brittany. Sister Soldier, the coldest winter ever. I read that over and over and over and over again. That was such very, very similar to my life growing up. I went through a similar experience. Not the exact same, nowhere near the same, but similar experience growing up. So anything Sister Soldier, No Disrespect by Sister Soldier, which is more of like her life story, hands down, great book for, like, you know, young sisters. Yeah. I can't really, I gotta come up with a book list. I read all the time, y'all. More Myself by Alicia Keys is one that just came out. She's talking about, like, her journey of self-discovery and self-awareness. I love a good biography. I believe, you know, the best wisdom is gained by learning from other people's mistakes and other people's journeys. So I'm that person who love. Thank you so much, Natty. Hey, girl. I love, you know, listening to people's life story in person, reading it in books, watching documentaries, docuseries and all that. I really love, that's like a passion of mine, is really studying other people's lives. And I guess that's also, like, a large part of why I'm a holistic wellness practitioner, because I genuinely enjoy just, like, listening to other people's life story. You know, Asada Shakur, yes. Oh, Asada Shakur. Her autobiography is just like, I love a good autobiography because, you know, it's coming from the person. You know what I'm saying? That, Asada Shakur is great. Frederick Douglass, of course, the autobiography of Malcolm X is some great ones. Isn't this the lady who destroyed what? Popcorn Time. What? I don't know what she's talking about. But But yeah, hands down, Asada Shakur, one of my favorites. Uh, Let me see. I'm going back and reading some of y'all questions. I don't really have any other book. I have other book recommendations, but like I said, I gotta do a list. Justin said, "What's your experience with psychedelics?" Let me tell you, okay. uh, I drink hella water, y'all. People probably like in my lives. I know y'all probably be like, "Sis," because when I that's more mainly when I go live on Instagram. I drink hella water. Listen, psychedelics, Justin. When it comes to psychs, I've tried. So a little bit about my journey with the whole, how can I describe it? Uh, Drug world, I guess. I don't want to call it that, but that's the only way I can describe it. So listen, I have lived, okay, honey. I've lived. I've done some things. I've tried some things. I started smoking weed when I was 14. I started smoking weed, and I was a pothead, okay, super pothead. 14 years old. Um, who the hell? I'm about to block all of y'all. Okay, because I don't know who this is talking about no damn uh popcorn time. Anyway, um, the fuck? So, anyway, from 14 years old, started smoking weed from 14. Didn't stop since then. From the time I was 14 to about 23, maybe. From 14 to 23, maybe. Didn't stop. And smoked heavy, constantly. It wasn't until I went to college that I definitely started trying other things. When I say other things, I mean like pills and psychs. Uh, Perks, Percocet, Xans, psychs. College. Not ashamed at all because it was definitely experience. I would say like it wasn't like anything that I could really say, I don't know how to describe. Like, it wasn't something I could say like, oh, I got into this because, of recreational reasons. Well, it was recreational reasons, but because of like I was like depressed or anything like that, it wasn't that. It really was just like me trying different stuff. So anyway, smoke, hella weed constantly. It helped a lot with like, just tapping in. Like, I was high. When I was high, I felt elevated. I felt, like, yeah, that was like my go-to way of tapping in and just like chilling, like relaxing, not having, not thinking about too much stuff, just really like doing stuff. I would pop pills when I was like partying, college partying, going out, like clubbing, stuff like that, perks, Xans, and drinking. That's, not excessively, but that's what I was doing. Then I discovered psychs when I was 24, I want to say. And I did acid. So, Justin, acid. And with doing acid, it really was like a breakthrough kind of experience for me. I don't know, y'all. Like, acid for me was just like it opened me up to another level of the spiritual plane. And I'm not trying to promote this whatsoever. I'm not saying, because I know it's children that could be watching this. I know some of my old students could be watching this. I'm seeing these people sitting here, right, talking about some damn popcorn time. That's these kids playing, y'all. That's these kids playing. But really, like, I know that, young people could be watching this, so I'm not promoting this at all. But for me personally, I just have to be honest about my experience. Acid for me really just like opened me up to confirming what I already knew spiritually about the universe. So I already had an idea on how I thought the universe works, how I thought spirituality works. And doing acid for me was really like it took me to another spiritual plane. That was the experience. And same thing for shrooms. So acid, shrooms, I definitely like anytime I try something, whether if it's acid or shrooms, anytime I try something, I'm definitely just very much like not becoming excessive with it. That's my biggest thing. Not becoming excessive with it. You know, addiction runs in my family, so I'm very mindful of not doing it over and over and over and over and over. I'm very mindful of having a one-time experience, you know, or a two-time experience, and then stop it. But I'm not recommending it, okay? I'm just saying for me, I enjoyed it. But I'm not recommending it. But I definitely enjoyed it, me personally. Okay? But I ain't recommending it. But I enjoyed it. Would I do it again? Pills? No. You said it's time for me to have moderators. I know. Thank you so much. You are so right, Bella. And I definitely thought about that. Like the moderator thing. I gotta figure out how to do that though. Cause I already was thinking about some people I would want to make moderators. But yeah, I absolutely like, yeah, I enjoyed it. So pills, no, don't like perks, Zans, absolutely not. None of that stuff. But psychedelics, I've never done ayahuasca. I've watched documentaries on it. I've heard great things. One of my favorite documentaries that was actually recommended in the group chat for the wellness community is The Last Shaman. And ayahuasca is something that he tried. He went on a journey to try ayahuasca for self-healing purposes. And, you know, he did it. I haven't done it. Am I open to trying ayahuasca? Absolutely. Absolutely, I'm open to trying ayahuasca, but I want to. Somebody died in that documentary, and I've heard that it's easy to die doing ayahuasca, so that's not something that I would ever, you know. I want to try it in a safe, controlled environment. You know what I'm saying, with people who have experience and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my experience with psychs. Like I said, definitely maybe I'll do a whole video dedicated to my psychedelic experience. But I probably would have my brother, my best male friend. My brother was there with me, and you know, when I did acid the first time, and we definitely like took that trip together. Okay, and it lasted for hours. Like I think it was like 11 hours straight. And it was such an experience. And I was in Savannah, Georgia. I went to Savannah State University in Savannah, Georgia. So I go back to Savannah. I still have a lot of friends in Savannah, so I go back every year. So I was in Savannah, Georgia, and if you know anything about Savannah, Georgia, Savannah was one of the largest slave ports. So it has a very rich history. The cobblestone roads in Savannah are still the cobblestone roads that were paved by our enslaved ancestors. So, you know, there's an energy that Savannah holds. You can go downtown River Street and they still have slave dungeons, you know, dungeons where they held our ancestors. And some of them have been turned into bars and parking garages and all kind of crazy stuff. But Savannah is very much a spiritual town. You know what I'm saying? So I was there when I did acid. So I have so much happened during that trip that I could explain. But yeah, that's my psych experience, Justin. I ain't gonna, you know, like I said, I don't recommend it. Okay. But I enjoyed it. Yes. Oh, Kiki said she was here when I had 300 subscribers. Yes. And I was posting the travel videos. Yes, girl. Yes. 300 subscribers. Ain't that crazy? And now we at 7,000. You said I give you such a hippie vibe. I guess I kind of would low-key be considered a hippie. I guess so. Like, I'm a person that I'm just down to try shit. I always just believe, like, never say never. You know what I'm saying? Never say what you wouldn't do. And I don't ever want to say what I wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? I can say what I strive not to do, but never say never. I've tried a lot of different stuff. Okay, I've had quite a few experiences. You know what I'm saying? And hey, shit, you'd be surprised what you like. Okay, in all aspects of your life. Hey, you know, you're seeking to try to toad. What's that, Brandy? To try to toad at least once in your life. What that mean, Brandy, to try to told? Is that a site? Is that like a code word for site? Okay, I'm going back and read some of your questions. I don't know who these folks is. You have been accepting with your soul and doubting religions. You had gone too many to see which would touch my soul. Lisa G, you said, I have been accepting with my soul, doubting with religions. I had gone to many to see which would touch my soul. So you've been like on a journey, like a spiritual journey. You started doubting religion, which is where it starts for a lot of people, starting to doubt your religious journey. You know what I'm saying? And this is my thing with like spirituality and religion. Religion does have its place. Religion does have its place. It really, really does. Religion has its place. The only thing I could really say about religion is study all of them. My issue with religion is that a lot of people are discouraged from studying other religions, and they believe that their religion is the only truth. And that's like the biggest issue that I have with religion. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much value in religion. There's so much value. Religion is just a specific set of practices. So we are all, as you grow in your spiritual journey, you'll realize that you start to become your own religion. You start to have your own specific set of practices, that you have. And that becomes somewhat your religion. Like, a part of my religion, religion, is herb work. Like I'm subscribed to herb work. I truly believe that the universe, that God has blessed us with this earth that is so abundant with so many healing resources. So a part of my practice that I'm dedicated and subscribed to is using various herbs to heal thyself and heal other people. Meditation is a practice that I'm subscribed to. I truly believe in meditation. Yoga, truly believe in yoga. Altar work, so these are ancestor veneration. So those are all practices that I'm subscribed to. Now, the thing with the religion is every religion has their specific set of practices for that religion. And people believe that if you don't practice all of them in a certain way, or if you practice anything outside of that, then you are breaking the religious boundaries. And that's the downfall of religion as well, is that it kind of puts you in a box. And a lot of people are afraid to break out of that box because they don't want to go against the religious boundaries, if that makes sense, which, that's the issue. So I'm trying to go back and read some more of y'all questions. Let's see. Sacred Powers by David G. It's a really good read. I haven't heard of that one. Sacred Powers by David G. Okay. How do you learn if you don't have a family or community? You got to seek information. Talk to people who you don't know, who are in that life. You know what I'm saying? You really, really, really just have to, if your family or community is not into this stuff, you really, really just have to seek the information and find a community who is into it. You will recognize that you will start to attract your tribe. You will start to attract people who are also on the journey, but read everything, listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, like really, really go out and just like find that information. You know what I'm saying? Go out and seek that information. Hey, Moni. Hey, Prince Onyx. But go out and seek that information. Like read, watch documentaries, listen to podcasts, talk to elders. This is my recommendation. Do not rely on your family and friends to be on a path with you. Okay? It's okay to be on a different path from your family and your friends. And oftentimes we look to our family and our friends to be supportive, and to be, Simone, I'm gonna answer that question, okay? But we look to our family and friends to be supportive and to, kind of uplift us and hold us up as we travel on our path. But let me tell you a secret. You don't need them. You don't need your family and friends to support you on your path. That's what ancestors are for. That's what spirit guides are for. Okay, your spirit guides hold you up and they walk you through and they guide you and they lead you. You don't need your family and friends to do that. Okay, so That's my recommendation. My recommendation has nothing to do with them. My recommendation is all for you. And my recommendation is to stop having expectations from them. Release them from any expectations because you are holding them down. You are placing boundaries on them. No different from a religion. Like don't hold them down. You know what I'm saying? Like don't release them from expectations. Release them from those bounds. Don't expect nothing from your family or friends. Don't expect them even for them to do for you what you do for them. Don't even expect that of them. Don't expect that from the thing about spirituality and life in general is it all comes back to you. It's all about self accountability and self responsibility and your own karma. Your karma is not determined by what other people do and how other people behave and the energy that they put out. Your karma is about you. Your aura is about you. Okay, so we're not responsible for other people's energy and for other people's aura, especially friends and family. So oftentimes, when you are on the best journey, you are on it alone. And that's with anything. That's with like career, that's with traveling, that's with spirituality, that's with mental wellness. Most of the time, you are alone when you are on your best journeys. When you go to therapy, you go alone. Okay? When you are on a spiritual journey, you have to charter that territory alone because it's all about you. It's all about your wellness. Your wellness is your responsibility. And although we would love to share our experiences with friends and family, you will often find that it's just not the case. Your friends and your family will be that tribe that you attract because of the energy that you're putting out. Okay? That's your friends and family. So release them from those expectations. Let me go back. I'm trying to I want to try to answer the questions as much in order because I don't want to skip anybody's question. Okay, somebody asked me, I'm trying to find the question. Somebody asked me, how do I feel about connecting with something with ancestors? What's the best way to connect with our ancestors? Okay, so that question was by Soulflower. What's the best way to connect with our ancestors? So connecting with your ancestors can be done in different ways. My favorite ways to connect with ancestors are doing altar work, during meditation, and honestly, anything dealing with connecting with my body. Okay, yoga, masturbation, okay? And I'm going to explain that, okay? People probably like, what the hell? But I'm going to explain that. So to connect with ancestors, usually you connect with ancestors. First off, they are around us all the time, and they're protecting us all the time, and they're guiding us all the time, okay? So ancestors are always there, but to be able to tap in and to connect and to commune with them, altar work is amazing. So sit at your altar with intention, meditate at your altar, put out offerings, pour libations, light a candle, ring a bell, use a singing bowl, bring the ancestors in, call on them, and then meditate. You can speak aloud and pose a question, or you can whisper it to yourself and pose a question and just sit and meditate and listen and wait for a response. So altar work is definitely a great way to connect and to commune with ancestors. Another way to connect and to commune with ancestors, meditation at the altar, but anytime that you are in tune with your body, our ancestors will often speak to us through the physical. So that's why, some people, when your ancestors are present or spirit is present, they'll feel chills. They may say, oh, I felt a tap on my shoulder, or I felt this, or I felt that. You can commune with your ancestors and connect with them and know their presence through your physical body. So in yoga, the reason I say yoga and the reason I say masturbation is because most of the time during yoga and masturbation are the only time that people are actually in tune with their body. Why? Because you are receiving some sort of pleasure from what you are doing. Yoga brings a connection, it brings a pleasure. So you are focused on your body, Eric. You are focused on your body. Think about it. Like we move throughout the day so much without caring about our body. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even think, most of y'all probably sitting right now and ain't even paid attention to what position you sitting in or what position your body is in, you know. But some people are probably sitting right now and their shoulders are tensed up and not relaxed. You know, breathe, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your eyebrows. You know, we don't focus on our body the way we need to unless we are doing yoga or masturbating. You know, so oftentimes that's when, and it sounds crazy, but that's when we'll be able to feel the presence of spirit around us. You know what I'm saying? When you are, okay, I'm about to go. Okay, we about to go there. When you are having sex, there's this thing called sex magic, right? So, you know, please be aware. Okay, if you are not a practitioner, get in tune, because somebody may be practicing on you and you don't know it. Okay, so sex magic is a real thing. And what makes sex magic so powerful is because if you have the ability to get physically, mentally, and spiritually in tune, you can practice sex magic. So when you connect the physical, mental, and spiritual with the same intention, that is sex magic. Now, your intention depends on who you with and what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Your intention could just be to have an amazing spiritual orgasm. So you can have spiritual orgasms where, you know, through the physical connection and through the mental connection, you can have a spiritual orgasm or a spiritual breakthrough where you may get a revelation during sex. You may get a vision during sex. You know, you may have a turning point or a change. You may be able to manifest something that is difficult to manifest during sex. So that's essentially kind of like a little bit about sex magic. Maybe I'll do a whole separate video about sex magic. But that's essentially what it is. And I say all that to simply say, we are so disconnected from our physical quite often. You know what I'm saying? We're so disconnected from our physical quite often that usually only time we connect to our physical is when we feel extreme pain or pleasure. So if you get a cramp, you tap into your physical. If you are being pleasured, you tap into your physical. You know, if you're working out and you're stretching a muscle and you're intentionally moving your body, you are connected with your physical. And you will feel a spiritual connection with your ancestors and your spirit guides during that time. Yes, Moni, spiritual baths are also great as well. For, you know, just cleansing energy and all of that stuff. And that's just a great relaxation time to, you know, be able to connect with spirit. Natty says she never heard of sex magic in her. Sex magic is a real thing. It's a real thing. Sex magic is a real thing. People see apparitions and auras and, you know, people see things and feel things. When you are practicing sex magic, okay, it's a real thing. You said, so you don't need a man. You can practice sex magic, solo sex magic, which essentially is just powerful, super powerful spiritual masturbation that starts with the physical and you just go beyond. So you start with the physical pleasure, you go beyond and connect it to the mental, and you intentionally connect it with the spirit, and then you have to align the intentions. That's the key in sex magic. It's aligning the intention with physical, mental, and spiritual, and you are able to highly manifest at that time. Okay, now I don't want y'all to be afraid of sex magic and think that you know, yes, you can see smoke clouds. Those will be like apparitions and things like that. You can see all of that. You'll be able to see energies and auras. You know, people experience various things. People experience seeing flowers and all of that. I have one of my clients. She cried, like her healing mechanism, a way to break through a lot of her trauma is through sex magic, and her partner is aware of that. So they've communicated this, so it's not weird to him. But quite often, she'll be engaging with him as a means of healing or breaking through a certain blocked memory that she has due to childhood trauma. So during sex, as she's, you know, aligning with the intention to break through an emotional blockage or a memory blockage, she will have visions during the sex magic, and she will be able to see exactly what it was she was being able to block out. Some people can see their past lives and past selves. So sex magic is a really, really powerful tool, y'all. And I'm telling you, like, some of this stuff, and that's with spirituality in general. Some stuff probably is just gonna sound so crazy. It probably really will. Like, sometimes I'll be telling people about stuff, or like sharing practices and stuff. And I'm like, now this probably sound weird, but it's a real thing, y'all. It's really a real thing. Sex magic is real. And I suggest that you are mindful of it, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's spiritual. A lot of brothers, especially, they like dealing with spiritual sisters until you realize what spiritual sisters do. Then you get a little nervous, like, hold up, it ain't the spaghetti being red no more. Okay? That's old. That's old magic. People still do that, but that's old magic, okay? We we done leveled up, okay? I'm not joking, but I'm joking, but I ain't joking. Okay, let me go back and read some more of y'all questions. Um, what do you think about the ban of? Oh, Natty, what do you think about the ban of locks in schools in Jamaica? That's crazy as hell. But if you really like are aware of Jamaica and their experience, like the Rasta experience in Jamaica, I had the privilege of going to Jamaica and sitting down with some Rastas and them opening up about how like they are just now coming to the point where what we think about in America of the Rasta experience in Jamaica, what we think about it is just now what they're starting to experience. Like the fact that they could smoke weed and stuff like that. No, a lot of that stuff is illegal. It was illegal and still very much is pretty much illegal. Like they talked about trying to grow their own weed and stuff like that, and they would come and they would burn it down, burn down fields and fields of marijuana. You know what I'm saying? I was able to go to 9 Mile to the mountains where Bob Marley grew up. And a lot of Rastas, that's their safe haven, but they still worry about invasion from the police and all that other stuff. Like it's not as free as people think it is. They're very much seen as like, if you study the Rastafarian culture in Jamaica, they were seen as dirty dread. They were seen as like being dirty and disgusting and vagabonds, and they still get very much treated in that way. Also, in a lot of African countries, when I was in Ghana, so when I travel, I always travel with the intention of, understanding the spiritual culture and holistic wellness practices of whatever place I travel to, and the Black experience of whatever place I travel to. So every country, I try to find the Rastas in that country because I love, Rastafarian culture, understanding the philosophies and the experience, and just I often find that, Rastas are mistreated everywhere. So in Ghana, speaking to the Rastas there in Ghana, they were being mistreated in Ghana, and they were being like ostracized, and they were seen as like vagabonds and dirty and disgusting and leeches of society there. And these are brothers who, they making their copper rings and jewelry. I actually, one of my pieces that I have, it's like a Ghana, it's somewhere in here. It's a Ghanaian flag. I bought it from, this is right here. I bought it from a Rasta brother out there, the beaded Ghanaian flag. This is made with all seed beads. And I bought it from a Rasta brother, but they sell stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And they just treat it like shit. You go to Ethiopia, the Rastas in Ethiopia, treat it like shit. South Africa, treat it like shit. Cuba, treat it like shit. So I'm not surprised that also in Jamaica, they're treated like shit. I think that we in America believe that, Jamaica is like the holy ground for Rastas, and it's just simply not. They're still treated the same way. It's unfortunate. I feel like no hairstyle should be banned anywhere. To me, that's crazy. No hairstyle should be banned anywhere, but I just think that we gotta really like understand that there's a lot of oppression in different places, and oppression looks so different in so many different countries. Ain't none of us really free. That's really what it comes down to. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic at all, but when it comes to like physical freedom, ain't none of us really, 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 truly, truly, truly free like that. Okay, I'm reading some more questions. Okay. Oh. Have you ever seen the Spirit Molecule documentary? No, Bella, I haven't seen that Spirit Molecule. I have to write that one down. Spirit Molecule documentary. Y'all, I love a good doc, okay? I love a good doc. DMT, I'm Brandy. I haven't tried DMT. I honestly haven't even like researched DMT. I researched it a while ago, but I haven't researched it in depth. Um, so I can't really like I haven't tried it. Would I be open to? Yes. I'm down. It's a cousin to ayahuasca. DMT is a cousin to ayahuasca. Okay. I had to try it. I love that black folks is becoming more like open to this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Before in the past, we used to be like, oh, that's white people stuff, shrooms and all that stuff, you know. But listen, okay, what did I think about the speech that the late John Lewis wrote? Which one? Which speech, Natty, that John Lewis wrote? Simone, what are your thoughts on WAP? Let me tell y'all. First off, I didn't know that. I didn't know if it was WAP, whatever. Okay, my thoughts on WAP or WAP. First off, I did not know that that's what it stood for. I did not know Spirit Molecule is about DMT. Okay, Bella, I'm definitely gonna check that out. But I did not know that that's what it stood for. I did not know it stood for wet ass punani. Okay, I didn't know that. I was like, they said they was gonna drop the song. I was like, okay. Listened to it and was like, oh, all right. I loved it. I really loved it. I just love just people having the freedom to express where they are in life. Honestly, that's what it is for me. I love people having the freedom to express where they are in life. I love people having the freedom to just be open about, their thoughts and their feelings and, what they think about anything. So I feel like in society, something we do is we shame other people for where they are in life. And if they don't feed, you said you're nervous about the next generation. If they don't feed our narrative or they're not on the path that we're on, we have a habit of shaming other people. And I think that happens a lot, especially in music, where music is such an expressive art. There's so many components of music, everything from the various aspects that make up the instrumental, the different instruments that make up the instrumental or the beat, to the lyrics, the words, the energy. Music carries an energy. It carries such a powerful vibration that has the power to shift. And something that I love is that people have the power to be open and express where they are. And the beautiful thing about that is, in order for you to really be able to help somebody, in order for you to really be able to connect with someone, you got to get to know them. And to get to know them, they have to feel comfortable expressing. So when we shame people for expressing where they are or expressing their thoughts on a different topic, you are really hindering and hurting yourself, because you're decreasing the likelihood to build a connection with that person. Which, who are we if we aren't connected? That is the universe, right? The universe is about connection. So if your goal is to really build connection and your intention is to tap into the universe, you got to be able to tap into all aspects. You know what I'm saying? So what I love about WAP is that it's a song of sisters expressing where they are and how they feel, and people feel like, oh, well, they shouldn't be talking about that and that's not cool. But why not? Why shouldn't they talk about it? They're not talking about killing somebody. They're not talking about doing harm to anybody. They're talking about having some wet pum pum, okay? That's what they talking about. They talk about having good pum pum. Cardi B is a married woman, okay? She said, I don't cook, I don't clean, but I'm going to tell you how I got this ring. That sister is sharing wisdom, okay? That sister's blessing us with advice, all right? She's giving us the wisdom. Okay, see, your grandmama told you that you got to cook and clean to get that man. Cardi said, I ain't did none of that. I ain't cooked, I ain't cleaned nothing, okay? But I got a ring, okay? What Sweetie said? Sweetie said, I'm going to tell you how to bag an 8-figure nigga. Sis, I'm taking notes, okay? I'm taking notes. I don't understand why we mad. We should pick up a pen and paper. I don't understand it. That's just my personal view and perspective. They not hurting or harming nobody. They putting that good pum pum on these brothers. You don't know who they helped out there with that pum pum. You don't know what healing powers is in that pum pum, okay? And not just theirs, but in yours, all right? We gotta tap in. Don't be shamed. Speak about your own pum pum, okay? And that's another thing too, like, Women, we don't even speak on ourselves and speak on our bodies. We are still very much in a space where a lot of women are still shamed to even talk about sex and to talk about what they like in the bedroom and all of that other stuff. We can't talk about certain stuff, or don't feel like we can talk about certain stuff out of fear of judgment. But this is the prime example of why. Because when women do say, listen, I got some wet pum pum, okay, I got that wop. Women say that and everybody's like, oh my God, they don't have no respect for themselves. How does that equate to not having respect for yourself? Because you could acknowledge that you got some good pum pum, that means you don't have respect for yourself. If anything, that's me sharing my confidence. If anything, that's me sharing my power and understanding my age. Okay, age means power. That's understanding that it's age in the pum pum. You know what I'm saying? I'm sharing my age with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting you know. And not only am I letting you know, but I'm telling you what you could do. Okay, that's all. I'm telling you how to tap into your age. Your pum pum age, your pum pum power. You know, I think that we have to stop shaming sisters for that. Now, only thing I will say, we didn't need Kylie. We didn't need Kylie. You know, I guess they was trying to be diverse, but and I don't have anything against, you know, that ain't my business, okay? But if it was a video for the sisters, okay, we could have just kept it for the sisters, okay? We really didn't need her, you know, I'm just saying. Do you think there's a behavioral difference between the African American community and the diaspora and the ones born in Africa? Orange Moon, that's a good question. Do you think there's a behavioral difference between the African American and the diaspora and the ones born in America? The ones born in Africa. Let me tell you something. The only difference is, now my African brothers and sisters, hear me out. Okay? Don't get in your bag too quickly. If you get in your bag, you're just in your bag. But hear me out. Okay, you said the late John Lewis speech is on YouTube. Check it out. I'll check it out, Natty, the late John Lewis speech. You said it was his last speech that he gave. I have to check it out. But this is my view. Okay, hear me out, my African brothers and sisters who were born on the continent. The difference between Africans in the diaspora, including America, the Americas, the Caribbean, Europe, and African brothers and sisters who are on the continent and born on the continent is the awareness of oppression. The awareness of oppression. I think that African American people, and not just African American, but African people in the diaspora are aware of our oppression. Why? Because we are displaced people. We are displaced from our homes. So we are consciously and constantly reminded of how we have been displaced in our experience of living in a place that we, quote unquote, have always been told we don't belong. So we are more aware of our oppression. We are more aware of colonization and how we have been affected by colonization. We are aware of racism. We are aware, most of us are aware, are starting to explore the conditioning and the trauma, and the conditioning caused by the trauma of colonization and being a displaced person. So I think that we are more aware of our Eurocentric mindset and our Eurocentric philosophies and our Eurocentric trauma. African brothers and sisters on the continent, a lot of them, not all of them, because you have some who are very, very much aware and very much, but a lot of them are not aware because they still at home. They are not displaced. They are still at home. So they are not aware of how colonization has affected their mindset. They are not aware how colonization has affected their behavior, how colonization has affected their social conditioning. A lot of them think that what they're doing is African because they are still in Africa. A lot of them think that their beliefs and their mindset and their conditioning is African because they are still in Africa. Okay, that causes a huge behavioral difference. Okay, that is why a lot of, people, African people in the diaspora who are reconnecting with our roots, oftentimes we face shame, and we face a lot of criticism by African people who are still on the continent simply because they think that we don't know what we're doing, or they think that we are practicing something negative and evil. I cannot tell you how many comments I get from African brothers and sisters who are on the continent who are like, you need to stay away from African spirituality. It's evil. One girl, this was a friend of mine, her sister. We were talking about African spirituality, and she was like, "Girl, they don't know. They think they know. They don't know," referring to us as like the African diaspora. Like they don't know. They don't know. See, that's the problem. They don't know what it is. They don't know the truth. They don't know what it really is. And really, it wasn't that we don't know. It's that she didn't know. You know what I'm saying? She didn't know. She didn't know her history. She didn't know who she was. She didn't realize that, and probably still does not realize that a lot of her mindset is reflective of colonization. Colonization, honestly, and hear me out, colonization was stronger in Africa than it was anywhere else. Because think about this. How much brainwashing do you have to do to go in someone's home and be able to take their family members without retribution? How much brainwashing do you have to do? How much brainwashing do you have to do to go in someone's house right now and take their family members without retribution and retaliation? How much? That's how strong colonization is in Africa. Okay? Yes, it's strong here, but that's how strong it is in Africa. And a lot of my African brothers and sisters are not aware of that. They are not aware of that. They don't see that. They don't, because once again, they are still on the continent. They are still there. So they think that their way is the African way, but they don't realize that they've been so disconnected from the roots of who we truly are because they were torn away from it and told that it was evil, told that their spiritual practices are demonic and it's the devil and all this other stuff. They've been told that. And then you also have people very similar to the diaspora where when they're trying to get into it and they're trying to learn and they're trying to understand, they're just like us. Whereas, they're reading the books and all of that stuff. When I was in South Africa, I was meeting brothers and sisters who were like, well, what are you into? Well, how did you learn about this? And they're asking me questions. I'm like, I'm here to talk to y'all. I'm in Ghana and they're asking me questions. And I'm like, I'm learning from y'all. And I did meet some real serious practitioners who were able to keep the traditions going just like the Gullah Geechee. Just like Geechee people, so very similar to America where you had these pockets of ethnic groups of African Americans who were able to hold on to their spiritual practices like the Geechee people. It's the same way on the continent. It's the same way in Africa. Something that really was a little disheartening when I went to Africa both times. I honestly always went with the expectation that I was going to learn so much and see so much from them about true African culture and true African spiritual practices. And I thought that everything was just going to be right there in my face. And it wasn't. The same way you have to dig here, and the same way I had to dig here. And actually, for me, it was easier because I have Geechee connections. It was easier here than it was there. You go to a lot of these places. When I was in Ethiopia, I had to travel for hours, a 3-hour ride in order to be able to sit with some real Omo people. If you know anything about the Omo Valley people, you got to go out, you got to travel out to them to be able to sit and talk about herb work and learn about, some doula practices from them and stuff like that. Like I had to travel out to be able to do this, it's the same way. So that's like a big misconception that I had, that I thought it was going to be right in my face. When I was in South Africa, I was struggling to find a herb shop. Struggling. Thankfully I was able to get in pepper, and pepper was like everywhere. And pepper was like, it's sage. So it's their sage. So we were able to get in pepper, but only time we were able to get in pepper was when we went to my friend was from Togoza. which is like a small town, outside of Joburg. So we were able to get in when we went out to Thokoza. But in Joburg, and pepper wasn't just everywhere. It's easier for me to get herbs here in Harlem and to get sage and stuff here in Harlem than it was for me to get it when I was on the continent. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to explain the point of like how disconnected, just like we are, how disconnected from true African culture and spirituality that a lot of African people on the continent are, but you can't tell them that because they're still on the continent. So in their mind, they think that they are connected, but they don't realize that they are just as colonized, if not more, than we are. And I know that some African brothers and sisters are probably going to watch this and be like, well, that's not true. We have this and we have that where I live at. But I will ask you this. Do you live in a major city? Do you live in Johannesburg, or are you in like a Thokoza? When I was in Ghana, I stayed in Kumasi. I lived in Kumasi. We went to Accra, we went to Cape Coast and different areas. When you are in Kumasi, can you just go right there to the herb shop? Like, I literally have an herb shop across the street from me. I have a botanica across the street from me in Harlem. It's easier here. There, it's not that easy. There's a lot of Christian churches and all of that stuff, just like here in America, just like in Jamaica, just like in Europe. A lot of people, most people, were Christian or Muslim or practiced one of the 5 major religions. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all, it's real. Like, when you travel, as you travel, you really get to see the truth, and you really get to see like the effect that colonization has had all over the world. All over the world. I feel like in America, oftentimes, and not just in America, but everyone gets stuck in their experiences of where they are. And we don't realize how everyone else around us has been affected. So affected. So affected. We are more connected on our trauma than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, the trauma is universal. The trauma that colonization has caused is universal. The question is, are you aware of it? And once again, on the continent, I don't feel like they are as aware of it as we are, because we are displaced people. We are displaced people, so it's constantly in our face. Constantly in our face. We are displaced, so we're constantly reminded that we don't belong. We're constantly reminded that we are oppressed. We're constantly reminded that we're not a part of. But when you are still at home and you're still on the continent, it's difficult for me to tell you that this ain't really the truth. It's difficult for me to tell you that. It's difficult for me to explain that. I always say, when I went to Ghana, y'all, I asked them, when I go back, I'm going to record this. So somebody else could definitely take this idea and do it and do a whole documentary about it. But literally, I'll ask the question. I said, y'all, I would ask people, if a white person came to you, and they said, I got a boat. You and your family could get on this boat, and I'll take you to America. And all you got to do is work for me when you get there. Would you get on the boat? Everybody except one person said yes, they would get on the boat. Everybody except for one person said yes, they would get on the boat. A white person comes with the boat and say, I will take you to America. All you have to do is work for me when you get there. Would you get on the boat? A lot of them said yes. Why? Because they are not aware of what happened after we got off that boat. Hell, what happened that got us to the boat? What happened once we got on the boat? A lot of them don't know. I taught African American history while I was in Ghana. I was teaching at Tia Amadea. Shout out to Tia Amadea, all my Ghanaian people, my Ashanti people. Shout out to Tia Amadea High School. I taught African American history for a brief period while I was there, and they don't know what we experienced. They're not being taught this information, let alone Jim Crow and all of that stuff. I showed them, if you on YouTube, Billie Holiday Strange Fruit, there's a video pictorial thing for Billie Holiday Strange Fruit, and it just shows lynchings. And I showed them that, and they would cry. They would cry nonstop. I never would ever play that video and somebody was not crying, because they did not know. They've never seen the bodies hanging from the trees. They don't know that experience. They don't know that, so they would see that and they like, damn. In their mind, they think that we living great. You know what I'm saying? They thought that we were, and that's the beautiful thing about this Black Lives Matter movement being documented and being shown around the world, because now we're kind of America is still painting the narrative, but we're kind of getting some global exposure of the black experience in America. Now we're just now kind of getting that, you know. But when I'm traveling, I'm like the spokesperson. I'm constantly explaining like, this is it. I actually, y'all, I have a recorded conversation. When my first day, and okay, y'all, I'm gonna have to get off soon because my phone about to die. But my first day in South Africa, I have a recorded conversation where I was talking to some sisters that I met, and I was just asking them a bunch of questions. They were, two of them was Zulu, one of them was Xhosa, and the other one was Sutu. So it was Sutu, Zulu, and Xhosa people, and we were talking about just like the culture and like the different, you know, the differences in the culture. And how do I know like the different ethnic groups and what's respectful terms and not respectful terms? And they were really schooling me on like how to live while you are here, right? And then I was explaining to them the Black American experience, and they did not know. They did not know. They had no idea. They had no idea, y'all. No idea. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's really a lot. Like travel, y'all. That's a travel. I forgot who I was listening to, but they was asking him about book recommendations, and they said, "What's the book that you should? What's the first book that you think people should read?" He was like, "The first book you need to get is your passport book. Get your passport book. Travel, but when you travel with the intentions of understanding the holistic experience of people wherever you go, but especially the people of color." Especially the people of color, especially the Black folks. Travel. Ask 1,000 questions. 1,000 questions. No question is dumb. Okay, ask 1,000 questions. Everything from what do you eat for breakfast on a regular basis? What is your daily living? Try not to stay in the big major part of the city or in the town center. Try to stay away from this town center a little bit so that you can really, like, you know, get to know people of the community. Take public transportation wherever you are. Take the bus, take the train, take Trotro, you know, shout out to all my Ghanaian people. Take the Trotro, you know, and really just get the experience and speak to the elders and speak to the youth, speak to the babies, you know what I'm saying? Eat the food that they eat, drink what they drink, and just ask 1,000 questions, y'all, and you will learn so much. Okay, I'm only gonna answer a few more questions because my phone is on 10%. Let me see. You say Natty says she think I've been here in a past life. I believe we all have. We are recycled souls. Okay, we are recycled spirits. I'm a true believer in reincarnation. Um, I definitely believe it's a real thing. Um, Simone, you speaking about the WAP video, you said I was concerned about the programming at first until the beats and the chorus took over my ears. You was concerned about the effect that the WAP video was going to have on our children, which, you know, I believe that we should be teaching young girls the power of their pum pum. You know what I'm saying? I believe that we should be teaching young girls that, you know, at a young age. I feel like if you teach a young sister that at a young age, she will be more mindful of how she distributes her power, you know? And not to say that, you know, you should have a certain limit of body count or whatever. I'm not here for police and nobody else pum pum. I got rules for my pum pum. My rules for my pum pum is mine. You got rules for your pum pum. Okay, you pum how you want to pum. But for me, I got rules for mine. But I got rules for mine and I govern mine according to my ashe. You know, but you govern yours according to how you want to, you know, distribute your ashe. Okay? That's your business now. But I do think we need to be teaching young girls about their, you know, sexual prowess at a young age. You know, because pum pum power also is not always just about sex, you know, and then we also have to help them understand the power of sex and the different types of sex. You know, you can have have y'all ever had tantric sex? You can have tantric sex. You can have sex without penetrating someone's body. You can have sex through touching someone. Okay, you can literally orgasm. Y'all try tantric sex. Try tantric sex. If you have not studied tantra, okay, especially if you are in a relationship, I know I got a few people, as Wendy Williams say, a few sisters and brothers in here of a particular age. You know what I'm saying? You may be in a relationship, or even if you ain't, if you in a long term relationship and you just want to try something new, you trying to shake something up, honey, try tantric sex, baby. Okay, study tantric sex, study the body, study pressure points. Okay, I was celibate. Listen, I was celibate. I'm still celibate, but I was at this time I was celibate and I was in a relationship with a brother, and we was in a relationship for I probably should do a different video about that whole story. But we was in a relationship for 2 years and we only had tantric sex. We was in a relationship for 2 years and we only had tantric sex. You put your tantra book down. Listen, okay, Bella. Okay, Bella, listen, get y'all. It's real. It's real. Okay? Best orgasm of my life. Tantric sex. Best. Okay? Child, y'all better stop. I'll be getting off this live a little sooner than I need to, you know. You know, but get into the tantra, you know. You said Africans, you from Kenya, African spirituality is seen as taboo there. Absolutely. The missionaries came to Africa to pave the way for the colonizers. Brainwashing runs deep. Hell yeah. All right, y'all. So I don't want my phone to die and then I won't be able to save this live. I want to be able to save this live. So I'm gonna try to get off soon. A lot of y'all are like commenting on what I was talking about. I'm trying to find questions. Platonic said, "Wow, he thought they was better there." No, y'all, and I want to do a few videos specifically about my experience in Africa, y'all. And great experiences, great experiences. I've been to Ghana, South Africa, Ethiopia, and Egypt. Great experiences. So that's West Africa, South Africa, and East Africa. Great experiences. Learned a whole lot. But I will say, and I did a video about this before, but I will say the mistake that I made is I went with expectations. I went with hopes and dreams, and I went with an idea of what I thought it would be. So I had to get over that brief period of being disappointed that it wasn't what I thought it would be. And what I thought it would be was like, you know, just the real deal. And it wasn't, okay? So my advice is if you plan on traveling to the continent or anywhere, just go without any different expectations. I went to Egypt. I think I said Egypt. I went to Ghana, South Africa, Ethiopia, Egypt. I went to Egypt. I spent my birthday, my 29th birthday, my 28th birthday. 28th. Damn. Yeah, that was 2018. Ooh, y'all. No, that was 2019. That was we in 2020. That was 2019. Last year, my 28th birthday, I spent in Egypt at the pyramids. I have pictures on my Instagram. Egypt was great, but also that was a whole experience because I found myself having to teach the African history of Egypt to the Arab people who were there and giving me the tour of the pyramids and stuff and trying to tell me that they're not African, they're Arab. Had this conversation with multiple people in Egypt saying that we're not African people, we're Arab people. Excuse me? You know, this is not African history, this is Arab history. What? It's the Arabs built the pyramids. The Arabs did that. Like that, we literally had to have that discussion time and time again. Okay, that was my experience in Egypt. But by then, Egypt was my last stop of my tour. So by then, I was already prepared that, you know, this is definitely not what I thought it was going to be. But yes, you guys, yes, okay. And then at the time, I had a friend who was living in Morocco because she was doing Peace Corps, and we were able to share experience. And think about that. Morocco is West Africa, Egypt is East Africa, and we were able to share Northeast Africa. We were able to share that experience of her dealing with Arabs in Morocco, me dealing with the Arab people in Egypt, and them both telling us as Black people that they are not African people. You know, hello. Okay, actually, if y'all want to know about that, you could watch French Montana interviews. French Montana talks about how he's Moroccan, and he talked about how he didn't realize he was African until he came to America. He didn't realize he was African until he got to know, because he learned about who he was from his parents, who believed that they're Arab. Okay? So yes, honey. Yes, it's a whole thing. Okay? It's a whole thing. A whole thing. You will be surprised. Egypt is beautiful though. Egypt is definitely beautiful, but you gotta already go in knowing who you are, okay? And I already knew a lot. I had studied a lot about just Kemet and Egyptology and stuff like that. I studied a lot about that. But before I went. So I already knew a lot of the stuff that I was looking at and what I was going for and what I was seeing. But I still got a tour guide because I'm not from there and stuff like that. So I just still wanted, and I was solo traveling. I went to these countries by myself. So me solo traveling, I wanted to be with somebody who was from there. So listening to them and talking to them, and I'm like, sir, that's not true. So imagine if I was someone who didn't know. Imagine if I didn't know the history and he's giving me a tour and he's telling me this bullshit that he's been taught because of colonization, okay? Imagine if I wasn't aware and I didn't know. This is why you got to study. Study before you go. Study before you go. So that way they can't tell you, okay? What DMX said, they don't know who we be. Da-da. You said, well, at least I saved the craziest experience for last. Okay. that probably really wasn't even the craziest experience. Y'all, almost got raped in South Africa. Okay, I could do a whole nother video about women's rights in South Africa. I almost got raped in South Africa at my own house that I was renting there. Okay. I was renting an Airbnb, and that's why I ended up moving. And my friend, her family is South African, but she was born in America, but her family's from South Africa. She came to South Africa the next week, okay, and we stayed together. We ended up moving to another neighborhood in South Africa because I was almost raped at my house in South Africa by a group of guys. Tried to take my keys and everything and run up in my house. And then every day after that, there was a van sitting outside my house. Every day after that, to the point that when my friend came, she was even scared to leave me in the house by myself because this van was sitting outside. And then I ended up, we moved. She was like, girl, we got to go. Okay. And we went to her uncle's house in Dakota. And we went and we found apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment in Santon, which is a whole nother experience. I could talk for days about my experience in Africa, okay? Honey, you got to think I was there for a long time. So, for me, I was there for a long time for me, okay? I spent a year just solo traveling. So I did Bali, South Africa, Ethiopia, Egypt. So I was there for a while, y'all. And my experience, y'all, hold on, I'm gonna get my charger, hold on. Okay, y'all. I plugged my charger in. Oh no, I didn't, hold on. Okay. Am I upside down, y'all? I had to turn my phone. I might have to, Okay, there we go. Let's see. Trying to make sure my charger stays in. But yes, I had a crazy experience in Africa. I was there for a while. Like I said, I solo traveled, and I left. So I did a video on my YouTube called The Transition Period. And y'all might not be able to hear me because I had to unplug the mic so I could plug in my charger. Hopefully y'all can hear me well. But I did a video called The Transition Period where I had quit my job. And when I was teaching with the DOE, and I quit my job and I saved money. And before I quit, I saved money, and I was like, y'all, I'm leaving. I'm gonna go to Bali. And this is how I was in the video. I was like, I'm gonna go to Bali, and then I'm moving to South Africa. I have a house. I'm moving to South Africa. And y'all, the plan really, like, in my mind, I was repatriating back to South Africa. I was repatriating to Africa. South Africa was the spot. And I was well aware that South Africa may just be a temporary spot. I was well aware that, I knew I wanted to move back to the continent. And I was aware that, maybe I might get to South Africa and might not be a big fan. So I may decide to go to another country, but South Africa was going to be my starting point of deciding where I would, of living in Africa and moving back to Africa permanently. But you couldn't tell me that I was going to move back to America. I just knew South Africa was it. So I went to Bali, spent a month and a half in Bali, which I did, what is it, with the solo traveler. I did like a vlog on that, so you can look at that on my channel. My experience in Bali was amazing. Loved Bali, loved Bali, loved Bali. You said what? You're having a, what your friend said? You said you having a conversation with your Egyptian Arab friend. What your friend said? But yeah, you know, love Bali endlessly. After Bali, went to South Africa. And I was by myself, had a house. I was living in Brixton, Johannesburg, specifically Brixton, Johannesburg. You say you remember the ants and all that. Yes, from the Bali video. Brixton, Johannesburg. Soon as I got there, my first day, I got there at night, you know, felt comfortable and stuff. But my cab driver on the way from the airport to my house, he was like, you're going to Brixton. He was like, why did you choose Brixton? You should have chose Brixton. Brixton is not safe. So I was like, okay, you know, Brixton is not safe. What's up with Brixton? Like, I was a little nervous. Well, long story short, I found out that Brixton was not safe. Okay, the next day, I'm a little explorer. So, you know, solo traveling is my thing. I'm out, I'm exploring, I'm walking the streets, I'm trying to learn the environment, learn the community. I want to know where the bus stops are, how do I get around. I'm talking to strangers, to the neighbors. I want to know everything. So go to have breakfast at this little breakfast spot, and these two sisters are like, where are you from? And they're talking to me, and they're like, no, you got to get out of here. Like, you got to get out of Brixton. You shouldn't live here. This is crazy. Like, it's bad over here. People get robbed, people get killed. You don't see the iron gates. So in South Africa, in this neighborhood, in a lot of neighborhoods, every house has like big barbed wire fences. They have like nice gates, but they'll have the barbed wire fence all up around the top of the gate, which is not normal to us over here in America. You know, like I said, I grew up in Brooklyn, Virginia, and Georgia. Brooklyn, New York, people ain't got them big ass barbed wire fences up around their house in Brooklyn, New York. Okay? In Richmond, Virginia, everybody don't have big ass barbed wire fences. In Augusta, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, or anywhere I have ever lived, have I ever seen rows of houses with is it barbed or barb? You know what the hell I'm talking about. But with spiked fences. Never seen it. In this area, everybody's house is just built like that. So that was already alarming. So they like, you gotta move. Y'all, my hard-headed ass, I'm like, I'm gangster. Okay, nobody gonna tell me to move. Shit, I'm gangster. I'm staying. They just over-exaggerate. They just telling me that because I'm American. Okay? Y'all, my ass was up out of there in like 2 weeks. Why? Because I'm walking to the store. I got my purse. This girl, she's so sweet. This girl walked past me. She was like, you need to put your purse in the house. Go put your bag in the house. I'm like, huh? Mind you, I'm walking. This is a stranger. She walked past me. She's trying to act like she's not speaking to me. So she's like, as she's walking past me, she's like, take your bag in the house. I'm like, what? Put your bag in the house. I'm like, okay. The hell? And I'm just walking up the street to the damn store. So I still, I'm like, well, shit, I'm already at the store. I'm looking at the store at this point. Something happened, whatever. Y'all, I have never experienced me going to a store and literally can hear them and see them plotting on how they about to rob me when I come out the store. Literally. Okay? So that was just one experience. And then I still stayed there, but I'm telling my friend, like, girl, it's a little tough over here. It's a little rough. Getting the rules and the regulations by the lady who owns the house, she's driving me around and showing me Joburg and, showing me different parts of Joburg and the grocery stores and all this other stuff and how they live and everything. But she's telling me the rules of engagement. Do not take out your cell phone, because she was like, for some reason they love cell phones here. They'll snatch your cell phone. So do not take out your cell phone in public. So I'm like, well, what if I need to call an Uber? Because South Africa is very advanced. Okay, so they have everything we got. They got Uber Eats, Uber, all that stuff. Everything we have, they have. Okay, so I'm like, what if I need to call an Uber? She like, you need to go in the wherever you are. Go in the bathroom, take it out in the bathroom, call your Uber, and then you can, when it says the Uber is here, then you go out and get in the Uber. So I'm like, what? Okay, this is just the rules of engagement. Now, mind you, I'm solo traveling, so I'm by myself all the time. So she's just like, you got to be very safe. She's like, don't go out at night, okay? You don't need to be out at night. You are a woman. It's not safe here for women, da 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 da. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's not safe for women? What you mean? Like, okay. I'm shocked because, once again, never experienced this type of stuff here. Never have felt like I couldn't take out my phone in Brooklyn or Harlem or Virginia or Georgia. Never felt like I couldn't take out my phone somewhere to call a damn Uber because I could get robbed or hurt or something like that. Never. So, beautiful on the positive side. My third day was Pride. It was the start of Pride Week. That whole week was Pride Week. So my first week of, being in Joburg, the whole week was Pride Week, right? So if you don't, Pride is the LGBTQ. I got this wrong on one live before. Okay, so I've been trying to LGBTQIA plus. Okay, so Pride is the LGBTQIA plus celebration week. So for those who don't know, but it was Pride Week in Joburg that first week, and a lot of people may be surprised, like, oh, they got Pride because of the stereotypes that Africans do not accept that. But yes, it was Pride Week. They had Pride. So I'm like excited. I'm like, oh, I get to see Pride here. Like, yes, I want to see what it's like, see the lifestyle, see how, because I was even shocked. I was like, okay. So was able to experience that. It was a beautiful experience, just to like talk to some people who were in the LGBTQ plus community there and be able to connect them with some of my friends here who are in the LGBTQ plus community here. And because a lot of my friends here were afraid to go to Africa because they didn't know how they would be accepted. So that was a positive thing. I was like, okay, I'm already like able to kind of break down some boundaries and, break some stereotypes and stuff like that. So that was the positive. But coming home from Pride, thankfully I had met I'm a very like social person, especially when I'm solo traveling. If you solo traveling, my biggest advice is, I had to take out my shy girl stuff. I really had to I learned to break out of a lot of that stuff, a lot of my anxieties and being shy by solo traveling, because you have to speak to the people who live there. You got to make some friends and get to know people. So I was able to make a lot of friends by that first week, and they the ones who took me to Pride and showed me Joburg and all that stuff. But coming home at night, they were even scared. Like, girl, you live in Brixton, be safe. Make sure you lock your doors, lock the fences, lock this, do that. That we're going to wait outside for a little while to make sure you're okay. So they would literally drop me off at home, and then they would wait outside my house for 30 minutes to an hour just to make sure that nobody tried to do anything to me or try to come in my house. So think about that psyche, all right? Now, the end of that week, I forgot where I was. I might have been coming from the mall, but I was coming from somewhere. And the Uber drivers, because they know it's not safe for women, the Uber drivers will wait for you to get in your house, okay? So it's nighttime. The Uber driver, he rides past my house a little bit, right? Rides past my house a little bit. So I'm like, okay, you can just wait right here. I'll walk. My house is right there. We could see it. It's right there. He's like, okay. He turns his lights out and stuff, and he waits. So I'm walking to my house. Now, as he was about to drop me off, when he rolled past my house a little bit, there's a group of guys. They're coming up the street, right? They are walking past my house. They see me get out the Uber. They see me going towards my house, and they stopped. I already got a feeling, y'all, and this is why we have to follow our intuition. I already had a feeling that, clearly something is not right. So I'm trying to go in my house, and my fence, I got a video about this. When I'm going to do the solo traveler vlog for South Africa, and I'm going to include this video. I have a video about how ghetto my gate was. Because to get in my gate, I had to put the key in, turn the key, step on it, pop it out, turn the key the rest of the way, lift it up, and then pop it open. That's how I had to get in my gate. Okay, so once you get the hang of it, it's kind of quick. It's like a step pull. It's quick, but it still takes a little more time than it would if the gate was working right. So I'm going in my gate. As I'm going in, the guys basically run up on me. They try to snatch me. They try to snatch my keys. My Uber driver comes out the car. He shoots in the air. They take off running. Okay, and my Uber driver made sure I got in the house. He made sure I was okay and everything. But that is my experience, okay, when I was at my house. And literally, they're running off. The Uber driver, when they ran off, the Uber driver, like I said, he walked up. He made sure I got in the house and everything safely. He told me, he was like, they're gonna come back because they know that you are an American, they know that you are here. And he was even shocked that I was by myself, and he was so nervous, like he didn't want to leave. But I also, you got to think, like, that was a traumatic experience. I didn't even feel comfortable with him, you know, even though I was very grateful that he saved me and he did what he did, you know what I'm saying? But still, he was a man. I'm by myself. I'm a woman. He's trying to offer to sleep at my house to protect me. I'm like, no, sir. Like, I don't want you to sleep at my house. Like, I was so nervous and so scared and so shaken up. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. I only ended up staying in Brixton for about 2.5 weeks, maybe, because that very next week. So that night, after that night, every day outside my house, this van was there. And there was these guys sitting in this van outside of my house every single day. Every single day. Every day. Okay? Every day. And there was a house across the street from me, but of course they got the big fences, the big gates, and you can't see through the gates. So, and they was a beautiful house. It was white people in that house. You know, in South Africa, there's a lot of white people. They're called the Afrikaans. That's literally their name. But you know, they're sitting outside on the white people house side. So, but they're sitting outside of my house every single day, y'all. So that very next week, my friend came. Well, she had already planned on coming, but she came that next week and was like, girl, absolutely not. Because her family, when they found out where I was living, her family was like, what the hell? No, 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 no. Like, I'll never forget her uncle, when he dropped me off at home, he was like, no, 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 no. Like, I was living in that neighborhood that when people ride through it, they lock their doors and roll the windows up. That's the neighborhood I was living in, okay? Beautiful place, though. Brixton is beautiful. Brixton, Johannesburg is beautiful, rich with history. The couple that actually owned the house that I was renting, the guy, he actually was exiled from South Africa during apartheid because he was, you know, he was a revolutionary. So he was exiled, and he had returned from exile, and he bought a lot of property there, and he lived in America for a while. So I learned so much. So there were pros and cons. There were pros and cons, but that was my experience, you know, my first week of having that happen. And, you know, having the van sit outside the house, my friend was like, no, like, girl, you got to move. You got to go, you know. So we ended up moving to Sandton. With Sandton, Johannesburg is like the nice neighborhood. You know, it's like they got the mall with the Gucci store and the Louis store and all that stuff in it. You know, you go to Sandton Mall, y'all can research this stuff. You go to Sandton Mall, it's like the real nice neighborhood. It's kind of like moving to, like, I guess, like the upper, I would say like the Upper East Side or whatever, or I don't, what's a nice neighborhood? Gentrification is so real in New York now that it's like, damn. But, you know, it's moving to a real nice neighborhood. So we ended up getting a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bathroom apartment in Sandton for $1,000 a month, which, considering we were both New Yorkers, so considering coming from New York, that was extremely cheap for us. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, $1,000 a month. And we stayed there for the duration of our stay in South Africa, but still, like, traveled and went around and stuff like that. But still had a lot of experiences that just were crazy. I seen people get robbed, you know, Maboneng, going to Braamfontein, you know. But then there was also a lot, you said the African version of taking. Listen, basically. But there was also a lot of, like, good things about South Africa, you know, going to Braamfontein, they Braam for short, going to Braam and going to Neighbor Goods every Saturday, you know, every other Saturday when I decided to go. It's a festival that they have every Saturday, and it's basically like, you know, food and drinks and partying and all of that stuff, you know, being a part of the feminist movement and seeing the feminist movement there, not being a part of it because I don't identify as a feminist, but, you know, seeing the feminist movement there and being able to talk to some sisters. Like I said, I like to learn from everybody, so talk to some sisters who are a part of the feminist movement there. They have this a party called the Pussy Party every Saturday, where basically nothing but women are allowed in this particular club, and the women dance and they have a good time and just celebrate wombs and vaginas and, you know, having a pussy. So it's called the Pussy Party. That happens on Saturdays, and that was super dope. Being able to go to the film festivals and really just like exploring the culture. Thankfully having my friend there who her family, once again, they still live in South Africa, a lot of them. So being able to go to Thokoza and meet her family and show me how to cook certain things and how to eat. This shirt I actually have on is actually from the Bantu Book Festival, which is the book festival out in Soweto. Being able to go to Soweto and, have those experiences, learning how to, make pop, and, pop is like their version of like fufu. So learning how to make pop and learning how to do certain things. It was a great experience, you guys. But my point is, like, you go to Africa, and anywhere you travel, it's not going to be all glitz and glamour, especially if you are truly living in a place. It's the difference between just visiting and touring and living. When you are living in a place, you are living in the towns, you are eating the food, you are living the life, the day-to-day life, going to the grocery stores and, all of that stuff. All your American ways are out the window. You submerge yourself in that culture. Okay, so truly living somewhere, you are going to have good and bad experiences, and that's just what it was. So I can speak on all the great things that happened in South Africa, but I'm gonna also be honest and tell y'all some real shit that happened, and like tell y'all all of my bewares. You know what I'm saying? As a woman, you gotta beware. Would I recommend solo traveling there? Hell yeah, you can solo travel in South Africa, but you got to know where to stay. I recommend that you do stay in Sandton, stay somewhere where you got security at the front gate, stay somewhere where there are strict rules. Like even when we got Ubers were not allowed on the property whatsoever. The security was real strict where we live. So we had an Uber that we had to walk out of the property to catch our Uber. You get Uber Eats, you got to walk out to get your food. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how strict. But you want to live somewhere where it's that strict. You want to live somewhere where it's visiting rules. We have visitors rules. You know what I'm saying? You want to be somewhere like that if you're going to be in Joburg particularly. I can't speak for nowhere else. I didn't stay nowhere else in South Africa. I can only speak for Johannesburg. My friend, she actually had an apartment in Maboneng, which Maboneng is the art district. That's where Beyonce shot some of Black is King. So Maboneng is the art district. So in Maboneng, they had, it also wasn't safe like that in Maboneng. Maboneng is like the Harlem of Joburg. Beautiful place. We went to Afro Blue. That's where I met Thandi Swa and Baswa, and there's so many different artists that like are famous now. You know what I'm saying? People who are on Beyonce album that I'm like, okay, I met her. I know him. Went to Afropunk in Brooklyn this year. And some of the artists that I saw at Afropunk South Africa actually performed at Afropunk Brooklyn this year. Well, last year, 2019. I was like, oh, wow. So thankfully, that's because I spent a lot of time in Maboneng and in the art district. So I met a lot of musicians and a lot of artists and stuff like that. I gotta check my lip gloss. Like I said last time, y'all ain't tell me my lip gloss was caked up. But yeah, so once again, there's a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of just, once again, real shit that just happened. You can't take out your cell phone in a lot of places. You go to Brom, you go to different areas, you really can't take out your cell phone like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do snatch phones. I saw people get robbed for their phone. I saw a guy get robbed at knife point for his phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, I guess they're trading the phones or they selling them for parts or whatever, but that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a real thing. But that was my experience in South Africa. Like I said, I'm gonna do the solo travel vlog. But the only thing about me doing a solo travel vlog, y'all, for South Africa is that, like, so as I've already started, like, I got albums and stuff like that of, like, me gathering the videos and the pictures and stuff like that so y'all can see everything. Because I went to Afropunk there, as I said. I did a lot in South Africa, but I also partied a lot. I partied my ass off in South Africa, baby, okay? Because South Africa is a big party culture. That's something I was shocked about. They party, they drink, they party their ass off. Shout out to all of my people in Joburg. They party their ass off. My first day, the first thing they told me was about the braai. Okay, they call it a braai. We say barbecue or cookout. They call it a braai. I think it's spelled Braai. So they was like, oh, you have to braai. You have to come to braai. So I would go to the braai, and basically they just throw like meat on the grill, and it's a good ass time. They play music, they dancing, they drinking, whatever else is happening, you know. But that's like on a Tuesday, daytime. Okay, Wednesday, daytime. It's constantly something to do. It's constantly a party. So like 75% of my videos and photos is club shit, party shit. Like us just partying our ass off in South Africa. It's a great time. You just gotta really be safe. Like I said, every Saturday going to Neighborhoods. Afropunk South Africa was lit. So Afropunk South Africa happens, it's their tradition to do it New Year's Eve. So I brought in 2019 in South Africa. I got to South Africa October of 2018, and I stayed there till February, the beginning of February of 2019. So it's their tradition so New Year's Eve is day one, and then New Year's Day is day two, I want to say. But basically, when the ball drops, you are at Afropunk. So I have the videos of us, you know, doing the countdown, the fireworks going crazy and all that stuff. Artists that they had there, they had Thandi Swa, they had Big Frida, you know, Big Frida from New Orleans bounce music. Big Frida performed. Who else? Masego performed. So many people was at Afropunk South Africa. So many people, but it was super duper lit, super lit. And I think it was only like $30 for the VIP ticket too, the VIP. Whereas Afropunk Brooklyn is like $250 for the VIP ticket. But yeah, Afropunk South Africa was super duper lit. But that was my experience there, and I left South Africa and went to Ethiopia after that. And Ethiopia was dope, you know. Beautiful, much safer. I felt safe. Honestly, I left South Africa because I got tired of feeling unsafe. I got tired of just constantly like worrying about safety. That wasn't the only reason, but that was a large reason. I got offered a great job. I have my master's in education. So as an educator, there are a lot of great jobs for, for people in South Africa, especially, unfortunately, and this is fucked up, y'all, but the unfortunate thing about it is, as an American, you can go to Africa and get a job easily. And to me, that's fucked up, because it's a lot of African people, a lot of, locals who could do the job that they are paying us to do, but they're going to give it to us because we're American, and they're colonized and believe that our way is better, unfortunately. And I'm just keeping it a buck, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of my African brothers and sisters can attest to this, how, there's favoritism. So I have a master's in education. At that time, I only had 4 years of teaching experience. At that time, I got offered a principal's position, to be a principal of a school, which speaking on both sides, ego-wise, it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's a good resume booster. Like, I could be a principal of this school and all of that stuff and make some money, which the money of course, it's not going to be equivalent to what you'll make as a principal here in America. It's probably like more equivalent to a teacher's salary here in America. But for my lifestyle that I would have been able to live in South Africa would have been good. I would have been living like a principal. So it would have been that easy. And it was easy and quick to get a job. And I met a lot of American people there who was like, oh, you do what? You're a director of what? You're what? They have these high positions, but then when you hear their resume don't match their position according to American standards. But because they're American, it kind of elevates them. So it's very easy to get a job. If you're considering it, go and do your thing, but also do the right thing. I didn't take the position because a large part of me knew that wasn't right. That wasn't the right thing to do. I knew that I wouldn't be able to give those. For me personally, I'm just being real. And some people will say, well, you should, you shouldn't think of yourself that way. You got to believe in yourself. Yeah, I'm for all of that, but I'm also very much realistic. And I'm very much about doing the right thing and doing what I feel like is fair. And I don't feel like it's fair to be the founding principal of a school, because the school would have been its first year. I don't feel like it's fair to be a founding principal of a school where it's my job to lay the foundation of how this school will run. And I only have experience of being a classroom teacher for 4 years. I don't feel like that's fair to those children. I don't feel like it's fair to the sister who has been going to school her whole life in South Africa for that position, and for me just to come in as an American and take that job because I can. I feel like that's fucked up, and I feel like that's bad karma. So I didn't take it, and I was like, I just don't believe in that philosophy, so I didn't do it. And I left. And I went to Ethiopia, and Ethiopia, was dope, beautiful, felt super safe in Ethiopia, so peaceful. Like, Ethiopia is a place where y'all, if you have studied Rasta culture, you know how, Ethiopia is the promised land, it's the homeland. And Emperor Haile Selassie, he dedicated Shashamani, which is like an area in Ethiopia. I like how you follow your morals. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Eric. We have to. We really have to. Even sometimes doing the right thing is not always doing what's best for your ego and what feeds you. Most of the time, the right thing is not self-serving. So if you want good karma and you want good energy, you got to do the right thing, even when it seems like the right thing is not self-serving. And that's how you have good karma. And then you'll just notice that stuff just happens for you. Stuff just happens for you when you do the right thing, even when it doesn't serve your ego. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a little tidbit of advice. But Ethiopia was beautiful because, once again, Shashamani is the area of Ethiopia where the Rastas are, and it was dedicated specifically for repatriation for Rastafarians and for all people to repatriate back to Africa, right? So if you are not aware of that, there is an area in Africa, Ethiopia, Shashamani, Ethiopia, where, you can go and you can repatriate, and that's the area where Emperor Haile Selassie himself set aside for Rastafarians to be able to come and reclaim Africa as their home. So there's a large Rasta culture there, and just a lot of people who come from different areas, a lot from not just Jamaica and the Caribbean, but some from the Americas, some from Europe, and they repatriate and they go to Shashamani. But I stayed in Addis, Ethiopia, which is the capital area, but I stayed right outside of the city portion in the town center because, as I said, when I travel, I try to stay in the town areas so that I could really know the culture. So I stayed in the town area out there, and it was dope. It was a beautiful experience. Ate the food and walked around and took the bus and got to know people. Ethiopia was so different from South Africa because Ethiopia is the only country that hasn't been colonized and that was never colonized. So they have retained a lot of their traditions, a lot of their traditional ways. And if you study Christianity truly started in Ethiopia. True Christianity, the root, real core Christianity started in Ethiopia. So when I'm about to say, because I was going to say a lot of Ethiopians are Christian, but I don't want y'all to come into it with the concept of Christian of how we think of it here in America. They are Christian, Orthodox Ethiopian Orthodox Christians. Okay, so there are a lot of practices, and that's when, if you really care about spirituality and about studying religions and the connection between all religions, when you go to Ethiopia, you'll really be able to see it, y'all, because the population is mainly Muslim and Christian. And you'll be able to see how the Muslims and the Christians work together to celebrate holidays, and they share a lot of the same similar holidays. They may call it different names, but it's similar holidays. And if it's a holiday that the Christians are celebrating, like when I was there for the Day of Maram, which is the day that they celebrate Mother Mary. So for the Day of Maram, the Muslims in the community, they help the Christians prepare for the Day of Maram, and they let them celebrate, and they make sure that the space is safe for them to celebrate. And then when the Christian people are done celebrating, they clean up. Isn't that dope? They clean up. Like the Muslim people clean up, and vice versa. For Muslim holidays, Islamic holidays, the Christians will prepare the area, make sure it's good, make sure it's protected, let them celebrate, and then the Christians will clean up for the Muslims. So that's just the working together, and we can cohabitate in peace, waking up every day to the prayer call, and being able to see the mountains and, see people celebrate and practice and pray. And, it was a beautiful experience. It really, I felt so much peace in Ethiopia. That was where I was able to do most of my healing work. I was able to which I'll talk about that a little bit too, but I was able to do a large part of my self-healing work in Ethiopia because of the level of peace. I didn't feel like I had to be on guard. I was able to walk the street at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because it was so safe. It was so safe. So being able going to Ethiopia, I literally felt like in South Africa, I was like, and then going to Ethiopia was just like, okay, all right, I could calm down and I can breathe. And because of that, I was able to do, I don't want to call it like I'm trying to think of the word, like in Panama. So if you know anything about like Latino culture, like there's Spanish, but there's cultural Spanish depending on where you are. And like in Panama, like my father used to say la tapa plomo. Like la tapa plomo is like a big bump or like a big hurdle. So like I can't think of a word to like describe that, but like the la tapa plomo for my spiritual journey, a big hump for my spiritual journey was me really doing childhood trauma healing work, right? And I felt I had been on a healing journey for a long time because I had been through, they always say the best healers are the people who have been through the most and had to heal thyself. And I went through a lot in my childhood. I was physically, emotionally, mentally, and sexually abused as a child. So I went through a lot. I saw a lot, experienced a lot of stuff. So it had a lot of trauma. And in order to survive that trauma, my coping mechanism as a child was for me to emotionally detach. We going in, y'all, okay? I did say we gonna get personal, but I'm getting real personal. But to cope with that, I emotionally detached. And that emotional detachment saved my life as a child because I didn't allow myself to feel anything. When people would do stuff to me and they would say stuff to me, and I was able to survive the abuse because I didn't connect my emotions to it. I didn't allow it to affect my esteem because I didn't connect my emotions to it. It didn't hinder me from being academically inclined and being able to do my schoolwork and focus on my school because I didn't become emotionally connected to it. And I became very emotionally detached, which is what I needed to survive. But to thrive, I needed to reconnect with my emotions. Okay, I needed to reconnect with my emotions to thrive. So to be able to grow and to be better, I needed to reconnect with my emotions. And I did a video about this, and I probably will do more about, because that's been a large part of my personal healing work, is learning to emotionally reattach, learning to become more emotional. Because in my young adulthood, I'm still young, but in my younger adulthood, being emotionally detached hurt me a lot. And it hurt me because it broke down a lot of my relationships, right? So just being 100% transparent, like, honestly, I always, like, people ask me, like, why are you not married? And I say, because I was not ready. I was not ready. I was not ready to get married. I'm woman enough to say I'm not, and not to shame any of those women or anything, but I'm not personally one of those women who's like, oh, ain't no good men, ain't no none of that. No, there are some great men out here. I've experienced being loved by some great men, but I'm woman enough to say that I was toxic, y'all. I was toxic. I used to be toxic in relationships. And the reason I was toxic in relationships is because I was emotionally detached. I would meet men and I would have great relationships, and I knew how to behave as a wife. I was raised to be a good wife. My aunt has been married over 30 something years. My mother and father was together. They weren't together for long during my life. They broke up when I was 6 or 7 or something like that. But when I was a very young child, but they were before me. I have an older brother and sister. My parents were together for 16 years before they divorced, So all my mother knew, she was with my father from the time she was 15. All she knew was how to be a wife. So I was trained how to be a good wife. So as I grew up, I would get in relationships with men, and I knew how to be a good wife, and I knew how to be a good girlfriend and all that stuff. And I definitely will speak more in the class. But I would, I knew how to be a good girlfriend and stuff like that. And I would do all the good wifely things, and I experienced some great men. And I ended up engaged at 19 years old. I was engaged to a guy who was a great guy. You know what I'm saying? I was playing stepmom. He had 2 kids, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything for him. I didn't feel anything at all. And I would try to love him. I would try to love people, but I just did. I felt like I couldn't because I was emotionally detached. So from that point of ending that relationship, I ended that relationship when I was 20. So the point of ending that relationship, and I ended it because I was emotionally detached. And I realized that I was hurting him by, this is like harsh to say, but I was hurting him by pretending to love him. I was hurting him by pretending to love him. And not that I didn't care about him. I cared about him greatly, but I didn't feel the love that he felt. And I recognized that I was not being reciprocitous in that relationship. I was doing the reciprocitous stuff. I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was helping him raise his girls and teaching them, about young womanhood as for what I knew at 19, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't being open, and I didn't feel how I know he felt. You know what I'm saying? And I literally realized that. So I had to end that relationship because I felt like I was leading him on. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, when I went to Ethiopia, I was already on a healing journey of becoming more emotionally attached, reconnecting with my emotions. And a large part of that work of reconnecting with my emotions, like I literally would have to do a lot of like inner self-talk, and I would have to evaluate. And when things would happen, I would have to ask myself, like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel? And I still do that to this day. Like, I really have to check in with myself of like, okay, well, this happened. How do you feel? Because, when you grow up in a rough situation, you're just trying to survive. So I'm a very solution oriented person. And this is a note for people who are solution oriented, right? Sometimes you got to sit in the feeling first before you come up with the solution. My way of surviving trauma was, this is a problem. Okay, we got to think of a solution. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. We gonna hustle. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. And I can get very much in go mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Okay, this going on. Okay, we need this. We need that. Let's make it happen. And I wouldn't feel it. So to connect to my emotions, I had to do a lot of checking in and ask myself, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about this? How does this make you feel? So going to Ethiopia, I felt like I was like, healed. But I knew that there was still some more that could be done. And there's always more that could be done. So when I was in Ethiopia, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And I just said, now be prepared, y'all. Okay? Be prepared. If you're going to pray this prayer, listen to what I'm going to say that came after it. I prayed this prayer and I said, God, show me the parts of myself that I'm hiding from myself. Show me the parts of myself that I need to heal, that I'm even hiding from me. Show me me. Show me the parts of myself that I need to heal, that I'm afraid of and that I'm running from. Because I'm aware that I may not be aware. So show me and bring me through the journey. I spent a month in deep depression. A month in deep depression. Okay? And what led to me going into deep depression, y'all, was like a replay. A replay. I would literally wake up out my sleep in like cold sweats, replaying things that happened in my childhood, replaying experiences that I emotionally detached from. So in the moment, to survive it, I had emotionally detached. But to heal it now as an adult, I had to relive it and connect to the emotion that I felt back then and go through it and feel that shit. That's how I was able to heal, y'all. So that's a key in healing. Okay, especially for my people who struggle with emotional detachment. In order to heal a lot of my childhood trauma, I had to go back and relive it and reconnect to the emotion back then and feel that shit, okay, in order to heal from it. Because what was stopping me from healing was the fact that I wasn't feeling the emotion at the moment. All right, so although I survived it, I really ain't survived it. I just kind of made it through it. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel nothing. So when I was in Ethiopia and I prayed for this, I would literally wake up out my sleep and I would be reliving what happened. I would really be reliving that moment and I would just feel it. And it was a lot of crying. It was a lot of screaming. It was a lot of work, like a lot of work. And I'm talking about clear moments, like clear moments, everything from sexual abuse to everything, like clear moments of just like reliving it and forcing myself to feel it. Forcing myself to feel it. Like, how did you feel? You know, why, like, why did this hurt you? How did that hurt you? Why, you know, why did this make you angry? You were disappointed. Why was you disappointed? What let you down? You know, and that shit was not easy, y'all. It was not easy. And I mean, I'm speaking on it now, and because I'm speaking on it, it may sound, but trust me when I say it's not easy. I was depressed, and I had never experienced depression. Thank God. I had never experienced depression. This was my first time ever being able to say, like, bitch, you depressed. Okay, like, I'm talking about I was in my hotel room and I stayed there and was like, I was leaving, you know, sometimes, but I was literally in my room and I had a balcony. You can get a nice hotel room in Ethiopia. I got a nice hotel room, beautiful fourth floor balcony and everything for $500 for a month. Okay, it's called the Brooklyn Hotel in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Check it out. But yeah, on the balcony, spent a lot of time out there just watching the goats and the donkeys, you know, watching the sun rise and set, and just I felt it. And the reason I felt so depressed is because I was bombarded by all these emotions that I had blocked out as a child. So that was my experience in Ethiopia. Ethiopia was beautiful for me because it was a safe space for me to heal. Okay? It was a safe space for me to get over the, you know, the la tapa plomo, like that big bump that I needed to be the woman I am today. Now, I can say that I am a much healthier woman than I was back then. I'm much healthier in relationship with myself. And because I'm much healthier in relationship with myself, I'm much healthier in relationship with other people, from friends to family to lovers and partners, everybody. I'm much healthier in relationships because I'm more emotionally attached. Okay? I'm way more emotionally detached than I was. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, so that was my journey in Ethiopia. You know, it was the safe space. So if anybody feels like they need a space to escape because they want to do some healing work and they want to, you know, get to their Latapaplomo, or they want to even start their spiritual journey, Bali, Indonesia, Ethiopia. Really. Like, that's where I didn't have to worry about my physical safety. Those are two places I didn't have to worry about my physical safety. So I was able to be emotionally and spiritually vulnerable. That's where I was able to tap into vulnerability. That's where I was able to tap into my emotions. And I felt so much more free. Once I became more emotionally attached, I was able to set boundaries because I was able to identify things that hurt me. I realized that, you know, I was encountering a lot of toxic people and I was accepting toxic people in my life because I was toxic. And the reason that I was toxic is because I was emotionally detached. And a lot of us don't want to admit that. A lot of us like to play victim, and we, you know, people say, oh, I get used all the time. People use me, or, you know, I'm always getting hurt by people. But once again, if you believe in manifestation and you believe in karma, the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And trust me, I'm not trying to accuse nobody of anything, but trust me, I'm just saying, for me, I recognize that I was toxic back then. And because I was toxic, I was emotionally detached, which was causing me to be toxic. And because I was toxic, I was attracting toxic people. And because I was attracting toxic people, I was ending up in a lot of toxic situations. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of people who were disrespecting my boundaries, a lot of people who were taking advantage of me, and people who were using me and stuff like that. I was in a situation where I was, living with two friends. Me and two of my friends had an apartment together in New York at the time, and it did not go well. And it did not go well because I constantly felt like my boundaries were being pushed, and I constantly felt like I was being used, but not pointing a finger at them at all, because we've moved on from that, but not pointing a finger at them. I'm taking accountability and saying that I was being used, and my boundaries were being pushed because I was allowing it. I was allowing it, and I was allowing it because I wasn't, whenever they would do stuff that would push my boundaries or that would, make me feel used or make me feel taken advantage of, I was emotionally detached from it. So I wasn't able to clearly say, when you do that, that hurts my feelings. When you do that, that makes me feel like you don't care about me. My communication was off. You see what I'm saying? So when your emotional detachment is off, when you are not connected with your emotions, you cannot be an effective communicator because you can't even communicate your emotions. Or when your emotions are based in toxicity, you can't be an effective communicator because you're communicating toxic emotions. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. Like how we manifest and the way we manifest as people, it's a lot that we go through that you may not even realize you're going through. And as you start to heal, you will be able to identify parts of you that, you got to take that accountability. You got to take accountability for you. You got to take accountability for everything you attract, every situation, every person, all energy. Take accountability for it and dig in. Don't blame. Don't blame yourself. It's a difference between blame and accountability. Don't blame yourself, but take accountability and ask yourself, what am I doing that I could be doing better? What energy am I putting out that's attracting this? Really take accountability. You know what I'm saying? And then you can move better. You can move better. But that was my experience in Ethiopia. And once again, I'm a much better person. I was able to call exes and apologize, and not to say that they were perfect. Okay. All right. Not to say that they were perfect, but that's their karma. Okay, that's their karma. I was able to apologize for my part. I apologized for the shit I did. I apologized for the toxicity that I put out there. Okay, regardless of what they did. Regardless of what they did, I was able to apologize for my bullshit. Calling family members, calling certain friends, and apologizing for my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to then say, damn, I probably didn't communicate well enough in that moment. I probably wasn't showing love the way I could have showed love because I really wasn't feeling love. I probably was loving them in my language instead of their language. That's a big one. That's a big one. A large part of taking accountability in your relationships is recognizing that you may be loving people in your language instead of their language. And that was huge for me. That was like a boom. When when I recognized that I have to love people in their language, I was loving people how I like to be loved. I was loving people by, giving opportunity and and teaching them certain things and showing them stuff. And I'm a big person that's on sharing information. As you can see, that's why I got a YouTube channel. That's my love language. I like to learn. So what impresses me is people who pay attention and education. So sending me, book recommendations and documentaries and stuff like that. That's stuff that I love. So that's what I would do for other people. You know what I'm saying? Giving opportunities and saying oh sis, you should do this, or hey bro, I got this opportunity, helping people out, being solution oriented. Somebody's going through a problem, I'm thinking of a solution. And I was loving people the way I like to be loved, but I didn't realize that may not be what they need. They don't value the way you're loving them because that's not the way they need to be loved. Sometimes we feel taken advantage of and we feel used, because we are loving people in a way that they don't value because that's not how they want to be loved. Okay, so you steady trying to give more and more and more, but you are pouring into a cup that can't hold what you're trying to give. Okay, you're pouring orange juice in a wine glass. And not to say you can't, because I do, but it don't go in the damn wine glass. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a great analogy, but you get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do sometimes, and I recognize that I was doing that a lot. So, and all of this, like, really, once again, Ethiopia, getting over that, like, this breakthrough moment, this breakthrough experience, experiencing that depression. I needed to experience that level of deep depression as a healer. So that way, when people come to me and they are in depression, I can identify it. And I know what that is. I know that feeling. I know what it's like to be there. I know that feeling. You know what I'm saying? I know the feeling of, like, you being in that fucking fog. You know what I'm saying? I know that feeling. Okay? I needed to experience that depression. You know what I'm saying? I needed to experience reliving that trauma so that I can heal from what I needed to heal from and become more emotionally attached. And as I am right now, once again, I'm a much healthier woman, and I still got some ways to go. I know for a fact that I still got some growing to do. And with my channel, with my YouTube channel, I don't ever want y'all to think that I'm perfect. I try to be as open as I can with, my ups and downs, my highs, my lows, my goods and my bads, because, I feel like, we're on a growth journey together. And I feel like we all just need to be more transparent about our growth or lack thereof. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we just need to be more comfortable speaking on it, So sometimes I ask my friends and the family, I'll be like, well, what you working on right now? Spiritually, what are you working on right now? Mentally, what are you working on right now? Physically, what are you working on right now? I want to know, and I'm okay with sharing that as well. Like, what am I working on right now? Because we constantly have to be working to grow. You constantly got to be striving to do better and better and better. So yeah, that was Ethiopia, and then after Ethiopia, I did Egypt, and Egypt was Egypt. I already talked about that a little bit earlier, where it was great, to see the pyramids and to see these things, and to go to the National Museum of Egyptian History, and, to see King Tut's tomb, and to see actual real life mummies in person, and to see all of these great, amazing things, like that we read about in books and then I watch documentaries on, and all of this stuff. Like, it was so great to actually see this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was great to see it in person. And just the experience of, just the culture. And, Egypt is a Muslim country. So you got to think, to go from South Africa, where it's very religiously diverse. South Africa, once again, is just like America. Just like America. Like, they have Popeyes and Krispy Kreme and shit. It's just like America culturally. Not, of course there's some cultural differences, because they still very much have their tribes, and they still identify heavily with, like, what are you, Zulu, Sutu, Hausa, and all the other, they have, like, still very much, South Africa, but it's a lot of, a lot of similarities to American culture. Go to Ethiopia, where it's, Christian, Muslim, and then you have a few people, if you go out and you travel out to the valleys and to the mountains, where you can find people who still practice African spirituality, and, you can sit and talk. And then you go to Egypt, which is a Muslim country, and very Muslim. So I show up and I got piercings. I have a lot of piercings. I took a lot of them out right now, but I have a septum ring. I have a lip ring. I have a lot of, like, tattoos and stuff like that. So I'm out in Egypt, and of course I'm like a main attraction. People are so shocked because it's a Muslim country, so a lot of people are covered, so everybody's like watching me, and they like, what is this? I have photos and videos of, like, large crowds of people just following me everywhere I went. Even at the pyramids, kids following me and chasing me, and, like, people wanting to take pictures and stuff like that. It was a very like, whoa experience, you know, because I was, you know, the American girl, clearly with all the tattoos and stuff like that, and my locks and all that stuff. So that was an interesting experience. Talking to some of the children, and I always also explore not just the holistic wellness, but I explore education everywhere I travel to. So I like to learn about the school system. As an educator, you know, I'm very interested in that. So I like to learn about the school system there and like what their education experience is like, and I like to visit schools and stuff. So visited some schools and talked to some kids, and you know, got to see what they're learning. And you know, Egypt was just great. Egypt was great. And then after Egypt, went to Italy after Egypt, and Italy was a whole different experience. But I'm gonna show all of this in the vlogs. But once I left Ethiopia, I felt just better as a person. I felt better as a woman. I felt more whole. You know, I felt real. I felt real. And it's crazy because, you know, growing up in the hood, you know, everybody talk about being a real nigga, a real nigga, a real nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm real. I'm, you know, realer than real. Fuck all the critics and fuck how they feel. Shout out to Meg Thee Stallion, you know. But everybody talk about being real, you know. But when I left Ethiopia, I felt real. I felt whole. I felt like I knew myself truly, because that emotional connection was like that last thing that I really, really needed. I felt like it was like the infinity stone. It was like the stone, you know what I'm saying? That final stone. And I felt like I had it, you know? So that the final stone of my wellness, I should say. I felt like I had it. And not to say that the stones are perfect, because I still, you know, that's being a holistic wellness practitioner. I still practice things. I still got to polish my stones. I still got to keep my stones good and in good shape and in good condition. You know, I got to care for them and mind them properly. And through my holistic wellness practices is how I do that. Okay, it's how I do that. But I felt so much better. But I knew in Ethiopia, I made the decision that I was going to move back to America. When I was in Ethiopia, I made that decision there. And I actually, the video that I recorded that's on my YouTube channel, and I think it's called like 5 lessons from 5 countries or something like that, because at that time it had only been 5 countries that I had solo traveled to at that time, I think. Because I did Bali, after Bali I did China. So I did Bali, I did China, South Africa, Ethiopia. I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, I had did Ethiopia, then Egypt, and then I did Italy, then Portugal. I did 7 countries in total. But in that video, I talked about that, like how, you know, I decided to come back to America, because something that I realized is that what I was looking for was an oasis. I was looking for an oasis. Like when I left to move back to Africa, I was like, I'm going to find a place where I want to raise my children, where my children could feel safe and they could get a good education and all of that other stuff. I was looking for an oasis. And what I realized, I feel it. And what I realized is that it's going to be some shit everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, there's going to be something. You know what I'm saying? Like, everywhere you go, there's going to be an issue. There's going to be a social issue. There's going to be a problem. You know, everywhere you go, it's going to be something. No place is going to be perfect for the type of life that I want to live, that I strive to live, and how I want to raise my children. You know, I want to have a huge community garden. That's a goal of mine. I want to have a huge farm, but really it's a garden, because I don't want to harbor animals on my farm, you know. I want it to be a space where, you know, have a space where animals could roam freely and come and go if they choose to. I don't want to cage animals on my farm, but I want to have basically like a big ass garden that, you know, I can be able to feed the community and, you know, feed my children and grow my own food and resources and stuff. And I met a sister in Ethiopia who was striving to do that, but she was battling the Ethiopian government because they was trying to tax her ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's some shit everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go, it's going to be something. And the question I had to ask myself was, which battle do you want to be on the front lines of? There's going to be a battle everywhere you go. But what battle do you want to be on the front lines of? And that's the question I pose to myself. And my mind may change. My mind definitely may change. But in that moment of 2019, I think that was like March or something like that when I was in Ethiopia, March of last year, March of 2019. In that moment, I knew that I wanted to be on the front lines of this battle. And everything happens for a reason, because look at what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I would not have been in America for this movement, this experience, I would have had that Angela Davis. I don't know if y'all know Angela Davis' story. If not, watch the documentary Free Angela Davis and All Political Prisoners. Watch that documentary. That's like a great documentary. But Angela Davis was actually in Europe when the civil rights movement of the 70s broke out. You know, she was in Europe at that time, and she came back to America for it, because she said she felt like she wasn't fighting for her people. You know, so I know that if I would have been in another country at this time, I would have been like, You know, you said you watched, my Juniper video and loved it. My Juniper video? My Juniper video? Is it the video about the Impepu, the smudging video? About the Impepu, the South African sage? But yeah, like, you know, I know I would have had that, okay, the Impepu, yeah. But I know I would have had that Angela Davis experience, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's why I made that decision. In hindsight, I feel like that I made that decision. But like I said, I had to ask myself, what battle do I want to be on the front lines of? And I chose to, you know, come back to America. And it was a great decision, because everything happened according to how it was supposed to happen. And I'm happy that I made that choice. And I'm here, right, on YouTube, right, full circle. I'm here on YouTube, you know, and started the journey of sharing my experience and sharing my knowledge, and, you know, building connection and building the wellness community. So somebody asked me to speak on the master class, to speak on the wellness community. And that, like, really, that was the inspiration for the wellness community. Me deciding to start the wellness community is, I really just wanted to create a safe space for people to feel comfortable being open about their spiritual journey. I find that a lot of people start their spiritual journey, and you don't, you know, you're not getting the support from your family, you're not getting the support from your friends, you know, and you just want community, you know. So that's what the wellness community is. It's just a safe space for people to be able to come and connect, you know, like having the group chat where people can pose questions or share an experience, a place where we can share resources, you know. And have y'all read this book? Have y'all watched this documentary? Where do you get your herbs from? Or anybody got a good online botanica and stuff like that? Or, you know, I want to get a reading from this person. And when it comes to readings, y'all, my schedule is... Okay, my schedule is out there. So if you have emailed me or messaged me about a reading, I'm only gonna respond once I have openings, okay? Because I don't want to lead you on and say, oh, in a month or in 2 weeks, or I don't want to do that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, when it comes to like places to get readings and stuff from, you know, they ask questions like that in the group chat. And, you know, I'm not a person who, I only want y'all to get stuff. No, I don't want you to only get stuff from me. Even if you get a reading from me, I want you to get another reading to verify my reading. Shit, get another one to verify my reading too. You know, you have multiple people that you get spiritual consultation from, not just one. I have several elders that I consult with. I have several EIs. I have several Babalawos that I consult with personally. You know what I'm saying? So it's a place where we can share those resources of, you know, oh, I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to do some candle magic. Where's the best place to get candles? So that was the intention of the wellness community. It's just a safe space where we can have a community that's centered in wellness and wellness practices. You know, it was a sister in the group chat the other day talking about Reiki and her experience of having Reiki. You know, people, you know, just sharing, you know. So that's the wellness community is our safe space. And then it's on Patreon. So the Patreon is $5 a month, very, very low, you guys. $5 a month. I think it's like less than 16 cents a day. You know what I'm saying? And I post videos in there. Sometimes I'll post some more videos, but I post videos in there just like, you know, teaching various things about spirituality and, you know, knowledge of self, the first level. So level 1, I have knowledge of self, where it's like several courses on knowledge of self. Yeah, the group chat is about, don't worry about the tiers. Everybody's on the first tier. Everybody's on the first tier. The tier 2 and tier 3 are closed because my schedule for the readings and stuff, I can't do, like, I'm not gonna say I can't, but right now I don't have the capacity in my schedule to even entertain other, you know, readings and stuff as of right now. But at the group chat, the basics of the wellness community, which is the group chat, the courses, the newsletter. In the newsletter, I put resources in there. So basically, it's just like book. People always ask me for book recommendations. We do a monthly book recommendation. I do 1 to 2 documentary recommendations, meditations, meditation videos and stuff. Herbs, I recommend different herbs for different things, everything from anxiety to struggle sleeping, all kind of stuff. Different herb recommendations for the month, a principle to practice, something to practice, whether it's mental or spiritual, a principle to live by. I think this month the principle to practice was centered around moon work and working with the moon. I'll have like altar recommendations. So the newsletter is just a resource space. So it's resources and different just suggestions, you know, for things you can do on your spiritual journey. That's all it is. And then we have the group chat, which the group chat is in Discord. You know, you join the group chat and, you know, you can just check in. And if you want to ask a question or you want some advice or just people just say, hey, sending some love to everybody today. You just feeling good and you want to share some love. That's what the wellness community is. So it's just a safe space for people to gather. Once again, $5 a month. I think that's $60 a year. $5 a month, $60 a year, you know, and that's what it is. It's the wellness community. So it's just a safe space that I curated. And I don't know what else to say about it. I love it. It's something I'm very passionate about. It's growing rapidly. I saw that somebody asked how many people are in the wellness community. There are hundreds of people in the wellness community, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for that. And I know, like, you know, some people join. I do recognize that some people join just to support me, and I appreciate all of those people as well. All those people who just join to support because you watch my YouTube videos or you see me on Instagram and you just want to support, and I appreciate that. And some people who message me like, girl, I don't watch none of the videos, or girl, I ain't even into spirituality like that, but I just wanted to show you some love, so I'm supporting. I appreciate all of y'all. And then we have people who, you know, they go in and out, and then you got people who are fully engaged and watch every video, and they're in the group chat and all of that. You know, shout out to Prince Onyx and everybody. You know, there are people who fully are in it, and I appreciate all of y'all. And you know, just do with it what you want. Do with it what you want. You know, don't feel pressured to be all up. You know what Suge Knight said about Diddy, be all up in the videos, and you know, don't feel pressured. Just your journey is your journey. Your journey is your journey. Even if you don't want to be in the wellness community, you don't have to. If you already have your community, you already have your safe space. You know, enjoy your safe space and nourish it and flourish it. But yeah, that's what the wellness community is. You know, so that's really all I could speak on in regards to the wellness community right now. I don't really have anything else to say. Natty said write a book. Natty, I'm writing a book. Thank you for that. Thank you for that recommendation. I'm writing a book. It's a book that's been a long time in the making, but I'm so young, y'all. I'm 29, and me being 29. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff. I've been through a lot. So I definitely, like, my book I'm writing is my life story up until this point. And I think I'm going to have to write a couple because it has been so much that has happened, you know, and so much that has occurred and so much I have learned. And yeah, I'm writing it, and I'm just allowing my spirit to lead me, and I'm taking my time, because when I do put out my book, I want to make it as plain as possible. I want to make it plain. I want to, you know, publish my book with the intention of sharing a healing journey and sharing healing practices, so that other people, you know, I try to think about it as the little girl who may be going through it. I try to think about it also as an elder sister who may be reading it, who's been through some shit, and she's just in her 60s and 70s and just starting her healing journey, you know. So I want to make it kind of like The Alchemist. Like, I always recommend The Alchemist, because The Alchemist is a story that you can read to a child, and a story that an 80-year-old person can read and they'll get it. You know, the 80-year-old person read it and they're going to take certain lessons, and the child reads it and they take certain lessons, but all the lessons are life-changing lessons. So that's my intention with my book. But I don't want it to be long. I want it to be a short read, like The Alchemist, where the beautiful thing about The Alchemist is, once again, it's only 100, like it's less than 120 pages, I think. So, and the audio is an hour and 30 minutes. And the reason I want to make the book good, short, to the point, and jam-packed with lessons is because I recognize that, you know, people's attention spans are not like that. And then I also recognize that everyone isn't a reader. You know, and I don't like to shame people who don't like to read. I personally love to read. Reading saved my life as a child. Reading was my way that I was able to escape so much that was happening, because I was able to literally, like, mentally take myself out of that situation because I was a reader. So I would just read book after book after book. But I do empathize with people who don't like to read, and I don't like to shame them. You know, I don't like to, you know, there's not a superiority or inferiority on how you like to learn. Some people learn from books, some people learn from documentaries, some people learn from podcasts, some people learn in different ways. So I shared stuff that I'm going to share in my book. I'm going to share in videos, and I have shared a lot of stuff in videos, just like this video. But I share it because I recognize that everybody ain't going to want to read a book. Some people going to want to watch the YouTube videos. Some people going to want to listen to the podcast. Some people going to want to, you know. So I just want to make the book, like I said, short, sweet, and good, and jam-packed with lessons and practices and stuff like that, for all my folks who love to read. And then I also want to, you know, Bella, do an audiobook. Do an audiobook for, you know, my folks who like to listen. Bella said, we need the audiobook in your voice. Oh, thank you so much, y'all. I appreciate all the love. I put up a post on my Instagram yesterday about, I talked about this earlier, but about how I was ashamed of my voice growing up, because people would always, you know, say stuff about my voice, and to this day my family will be like, oh, they'll make fun of how I used to cry because I had a deep cry, you know. But it's so crazy, so ironic that people like my voice now. Look, you see, I even hesitate before I say it, because I'm like, wow, it's just so ironic to me that people are okay with my voice. I'm like, wow. And I appreciate all that love and stuff. But all right, y'all, I think I'm gonna wrap this up now. It's been quite a long time. We've been on here for hours, I think. I'm gonna go back and read some of y'all. What are your tips for visualization when it comes to manifestation? I'm really struggling. Oh, with visualization. Okay. Visualization. Manifestation, first off, y'all, is one of my favorite topics. I love the topic of manifestation because it's real. I was about to like go into some, you know, but manifestation is real. You really have the power to manifest the life that you desire. I say it over and over and over, but it's so true. And a lot of great things and not so great things that have happened in my life have come from manifestation. And we all manifest, right? We all manifest. One of the questions that was in one of my videos, I said, in the video I spoke on, how karma and reincarnation and manifestation are all connected. And somebody was like, well, how's karma and reincarnation connected? And how is karma connected to manifestation? It's all manifestation, okay? It's all manifestation. All of it is connected together, okay? So what we definitely have to be mindful of is that whether you know it or not, whether you recognize it or not, you are manifesting. You are manifesting. The key, though, to manifesting is being intentional about it. You have to be intentional about everything you do, everything you think, everything you say, however you move, everything you visualize and imagine. You have to be intentional about it, right? And when I say intentional, what do I mean? When I say be intentional, identify your why, identify your purpose. I ask myself a couple of questions in my mind. Why would I do this? Why do I want this? Why? And also, is it the right thing? Is it right? Why and is it right? Those are like my two key questions. Why and is it right? Because sometimes we work out of ego. And we all have some ego. And ego is not a negative thing. A misappropriation of ego is a negative thing. But ego is not a negative thing. We need ego. Ego is that part of self that helps you recognize who you are and step into your power and step into your light, set your boundaries and know your value. That's what we need ego for, right? So ego is a good thing when it's managed properly. Okay, but sometimes we desire and we want certain things out of ego. So you have to be able to separate your spirit from your ego. Okay, separate your spirit from your ego and know the difference between the two. And it's not something that we're taught in schools. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that we're taught in church or in anywhere else. You just have to know. So when I'm manifesting anything, the first thing I do is set my intention for that thing that I think that I want or desire. Anything. You can manifest anything. Anything. You can manifest anything from a glass of water, a snack, money, a lover, your man or your woman, a career, a job, anything. You can manifest anything in this life. You can manifest it. Anything you want or desire, you have the power to attract that to you. But be mindful of what you are attracting and why you are attracting it. Why do you want that thing? What is your intention for it? What is your purpose for it? And is it right? Is it right? Okay, so that's what you want to ask yourself. Now, when it comes to visualizing, in order to visualize, I spoke about this before, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but to really visualize, you have to shift your mindset. You really do. To be a good visualizer, you really have to shift your mindset. And shifting your mindset is going to take a lot of unlearning trauma. A lot of people have blockages in visualization because you cannot imagine yourself being in the situation of what you desire. Right? So if poverty is your norm, it's maybe difficult for you to imagine yourself in wealth and really feel it. Because the key to visualization is you have to emotionally attach. Now think about what I said earlier. You have to emotionally attach to it, physically see it, mentally know that it can happen, and spiritually set the intention for it. Okay? To be really visualize, emotionally attached to it, as you mentally, really think about this now. You are mentally putting yourself there, visually, physically seeing it, mentally putting yourself there, and spiritually setting the intention for it. You're literally grabbing it, you're bringing it to you, and then you release. But in order to do that, you have to shift your mindset and know that it's possible. Some of us, it's hard for us to imagine ourselves in wealth because all you know is poverty. So it may be difficult to imagine yourself in wealth if all you know is poverty, because you don't even know what wealth feels like. That emotional aspect of it is a hard part. But that's why I remember earlier when I talked about healing from my emotional detachment issues. I had to learn to connect with my emotion in order to be able to fully become a powerful manifester, because I didn't realize that was the infinity stone that I was missing, was that emotional attachment. Once I became more emotionally attached, I was able to experience joy, true happiness, true peace, true love. I was able to really sit in those emotions. So now, as I visualize, I can apply those emotions to my visualization. So if you want a house, you want a spouse, you want some money, you want anything, a career change, you want to travel, you gotta visualize, physically see yourself in that position or in that situation, and then attach the emotions that go with it. When you are with your man, you with your woman, what do you want to feel like? How do you want to feel? And feel that feeling. You want to feel happiness? You want to feel joy? You want to feel peace? You got to feel that. But the only way you can feel that when you are visualizing is if you have connected to that emotion before. The only way you can feel that when you are visualizing is if you have connected to that emotion before. If you've never experienced happiness, then it's going to be difficult for you to really practice visualization. If you've never experienced true joy, it's going to be difficult for you to practice visualization, which will make it difficult for you to manifest because you cannot attach that emotion to it. Okay, so when you are manifesting and you are visualizing, you want to make sure that you have all of those holistic. That's the holistic. When I say holistic wellness, that's what I'm speaking on: spirit, mental, physical, emotional. You want to make sure that you have the holistic keys of visualization. Set the spiritual intention. Set your emotions. Decide how you want to feel in that moment. Mentally know that it's possible. Mentally know that it's yours. Set yourself in your mind that this is mine, and then physically see yourself in it. That's visualization, and that's how you manifest using visualization. That's how you manifest, okay? So just be mindful about that. And take your time. Take your time. Don't rush yourself, pace yourself. I always say this, but in spiritual journeys, take your time, mind your self-talk. Don't be too harsh on yourself, and then trust that this has really been like a big thing that's been coming up lately, especially, in my life, is, just constantly having to remind people to trust that people will love you anyway. Yes, I'm an Aquarius. February 10th, 1991 is my birthday. But you really, really just trust that people will love you where you are. I really feel like I have to remind people of that constantly. Trust that people will love you no matter where you are, okay? So when you are on a spiritual journey, don't feel like you have to appear perfect or appear, okay, February 1st. Don't feel like you have to appear perfect or appear as a spiritual person or anything. You can talk about manifestation and just let people know that you practicing. That's why I say I'm a holistic wellness practitioner. I'm practicing, okay? You are practicing. We're all practicing. Ain't none of us perfect at none of this stuff, okay? We're all practicing. And just trust that people will love you anyway where you are if they really meant for you, okay? I was recently... because I'm dating again, and I was recently dating a guy who, okay, January 29th, one day after J. Cole, January 28th, I was recently dating a guy who, he felt like he had to match who he thought I was. He felt like he had to match his perception of because people perceive you a certain way in your mind, no matter who you are, how you are. People gonna perceive you based on their experience and based on what they think. And because of who he perceived me as, he thought that he had to match it. So anytime he would talk to me, it would be, when he met me, I was going to a meeting, so I was dressed up. So he thought that he always had to talk about business and his business accomplishments and his money and all of this stuff. And I don't give a damn about none of that stuff. I really don't, y'all. Like, I really don't care about none of that. That's actually a turn off for me. I don't want to hear about your money. I don't want to hear about, not that I don't want to hear about your accomplishments, but I don't want that to be all of who you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed by that. And he felt like, every conversation, he felt like he had to flex his business prowess to me. And I was just like completely turned off. And I had to let him know. I was like, listen, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Like, just tell me what you think about certain situations. Tell me what you think about, let's talk about everything. Let's talk about spirituality. Let's talk about politics. And it's okay for you to say, I ain't into that. Or I don't believe in that. Or I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay for you to say that and not worry about whether or not you're going to be accepted in certain arenas or accepted by certain people or whatever, so that's once again, like going back to the wellness community, that's like really the intention of the wellness community, is to be a safe space for people to say, I don't know, a safe space for people to say, hey, I heard about this, I'm interested in that. Anybody got any resources on how I can learn about this? Because I feel like in society, we are afraid to say, I don't know, or we are afraid to say an opinion or something that is in opposition to the popular opinion, like, don't be ashamed of that, and people who are meant for you will love you anyway, so it's, when it comes to the topic of manifestation, please, in anything dealing with spirituality, understand that you are not going to be perfect. You are not going to be perfect, especially to some shit that you new at. If you are new at intentionally manifesting, because like I said, we're always manifesting whether we know it or not. But if you are new at intentionally manifesting, you know, you are not going to be perfect at it. You know, I have been in situations where I manifested some stuff, and when I got it, I realized that that wasn't really what I actually wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't really what I actually needed. And I had to go back to the drawing board, you know? That's gonna happen. You're gonna go through that experience, you know, where you're gonna manifest some stuff and you're gonna be like, oh, I should have been a little more clear about this. So I should have, you know, maybe I should have been a little more mindful about the emotions that I attached to it. When I speak on manifestation, and I spoke on that before in the last live about, you know, sometimes you'll manifest stuff and you get exactly what you want, but it don't feel good to you. And I recognize that it didn't feel good because I forgot the emotion part. When I was visualizing this, I didn't attach an emotion to it. So I got it, but I don't feel how I thought I was going to feel because I didn't attach the emotion that I wanted to feel when I manifested it. Oops, damn, got to go back. You know, and that still happens sometimes. You know, so just, we are practitioners. You are a practitioner, okay? You are a practitioner. Sit in that, okay? Be comfortable with that. I'm a forever student. Be a forever student. I love learning new stuff. Love it. I love learning new stuff. I love asking 1,000 questions. I love saying, oh, I don't know about that. Teach me about that. I love being able to admit when I got something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, I thought this was going to be like this. This ain't quite what I thought it was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we want to talk about relationships. Okay, I thought when it came to like just real shit, relationships, January 15th, okay, Capricorn. No, January 15th is, yeah, that's a Capricorn. Yeah, January 15th is Capricorn. But, yeah, like even being in relationships, you guys, like I literally had a list of what I wanted in a man. A list. Me and my friend sat down. We was talking about manifestation. We sat down and we wrote list of what we wanted in a man. And I got everything on my list. Okay? I had got everything on my list. And then I realized that I didn't really want that. I didn't want that like that. I thought I wanted that, but I don't want that no more. That's not what I need. That's not what's for me. You know what I'm saying? But it's because the reason that happened is because I was manifesting out of ego or manifesting out of what I thought sounded right. You know what I'm saying? So when and my list wasn't nothing crazy, but it just wasn't clear enough. Okay, it wasn't clear enough. When I said that I wanted a man who could communicate and a man who was open about his emotions, I wasn't clear enough. Okay? And I'm being transparent. Hopefully he ain't watching this, but we talked about this and you know what it is. Okay, we cool, you know, all love. But I thought I wanted that. I said on my list, I said I wanted a man, and I still got it somewhere. I said I wanted a man who could effectively communicate and was open about his emotions. And literally, y'all, I ended up getting a man who was extremely emotional. And that was before my journey of becoming emotionally attached again, you know, emotional reattachment. I wonder if there's a word for that, because I always just say emotional reattachment, but that was before my healing journey of emotionally reattaching. And I manifested a man who was extremely emotional. So being a woman who at the time was very emotionally detached and a man who cried at the drop of a fucking hat, y'all, I was like, I don't want this no more. I don't like this. Why he crying? Why? Like, again? And there's nothing wrong with a man crying. I don't mind a man crying at all. I definitely think everybody needs to cry. You know what I'm saying? But we watching a movie. We watching Low Down Dirty Shame. Why is you crying? Because Peaches got shot in the club. Not Wayman. Remember when Wayman got shot in the club in Low Down Dirty Shame? And he wasn't even shot. It was really wine. This man was crying. I'm playing a song. I'm listening to India Arie. I can't even make it through an India Arie song because you crying. We can't listen to Lauryn Hill because you crying. Like, that wasn't for me. That was not. I should have been more clear when I was manifesting. I had to go back to the list and say, scratch out. Let me be more clear. Okay? So once again, my point is that when you are manifesting, you have to be clear and be mindful that you are practicing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are practicing, y'all. I lied to you not, okay? It's y'all. One time we was in Whole Foods. He had never been. You know, he was hood. You know what I'm saying? I got a little thing for, you know, gangsters, which is not, that's something else I'm working on. Okay, I'm a work in progress. I'm growing. Okay, I'm growing. But he, you know, he had never been to a Whole Foods. Y'all, took him to Whole Foods for the first time, and he started crying. He started crying in Whole Foods. It's fucked up in the hood that we don't have this shit. This is fucked up. We in the hood, we should have all of this in the hood, yo. In the hood, they don't have none of this, yo. Our people in the hood is starving. And granted, like, I see where he was coming from. But I'm in the middle of Whole Foods, like, I just came for some quinoa chili and some apple juice. And you crying in the middle of the Whole Foods. I can't. This is not what I wanted. This is not it. Okay? Not for me. This is not it. You know, not it. But I had to, once I went through my healing journey of, you know, emotionally reattaching, what I had to do was I did have to call him and I apologized. When I told you I apologized to some of my exes, I apologized because I wasn't validating his emotions. Although, because his emotions was too much for me, you know, I'm pretty sure in our relationship, and I know for sure because he confirmed it, but in our relationships, a lot of his emotions went invalidated, because I was just like, you good? It was a lot of that from me, okay? You gotta think, at that time, I was emotionally detached. So it was a lot of like, bruh, you good, bro? Okay, you want some tissue? You good, bro? Okay. It was a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. So once I went through my healing journey, though, I recognized that it's not my space to determine who should be emotional over what or how you should express emotion. Some people are criers. You know, some people, they get emotional a lot, and that's okay. That's their business. You know what I'm saying? And he needed to be with a woman who could validate all of those emotions. I just wasn't that woman. So anyway, the lesson I had to learn with manifesting is I have to manifest for what I need and what I need from my spirit, you know, as opposed to what I thought sounded good. I thought that sounded good to say, oh, I want a man who's emotionally connected, which is, you do want that. You do want that. But I need to be more clear on what I mean by emotionally connected. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally connected, not submerged. Okay, emotionally connected. And also just clarifying, what does emotional connection mean? Let me tell you something about manifestation. When you are manifesting, you will realize that there's a balance. There's a fine line of balance between being super duper detailed and clear and being open to how it will show up. There's a fine line that's like kind of weird and difficult to explain. But when you are manifesting and you're putting it out there, you have to be super duper clear. I'm talking about super clear, but also be open to how it will show up. Okay? And then one day I'm actually going to meditate on this of how I can better explain that difference. And maybe if someone else could explain it better, put it in the comments, you know, Natty, Moni, Bella, somebody who maybe could explain it better, put it in the comments. But there's a fine line of when you are manifesting, you have to be super duper clear about, you know, yes, detailed but trusting the universe, you know, super clear but be open to how it will show up. There's a fine line in there. But just know for sure that you have the power to manifest everything and anything. You really do. You really do. You got the power to manifest everything that you want. Everything. visualize it, put yourself in it, attach that emotion to it, set the spiritual intention for it, and mentally know that it is yours. It is yours. Watch the documentary The Secret. Okay, that was actually in our newsletter for the wellness community this month. Watch the documentary The Secret. I always struggle with that word documentary, whatever the fuck. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. Documented. The docu. That's what I be saying to my friends. I be like, oh, I'm watching this docu. Okay, I'm looking at seeing if anybody has any more questions before I get off. I'm probably gonna take like one more question. Somebody asked me, do I teach readings? I don't teach readings. I'll explain why I don't teach readings. The reason I don't teach readings is because I have my own view on doing readings and spiritual readings, and my view is based on my spiritual gifts. So we all have spiritual gifts. Everybody has spiritual gifts. Some people's spiritual gifts are different, than others. Everybody is not meant to be a seer or a reader and everything like that. Everybody has a spiritual gift. For me, I've always had a spiritual gift of sight, a spiritual gift of reading. I've always been a seer and a reader from the time I was very, very young, very young. My mother identified it when I was a child. She identified it before I even felt comfortable opening up about it. She knew. So when I finally did open up to her about it, she was kind of already expecting it, and she was like, okay. Maybe I'll tell that story and go in detail on that one day. But, when I talked to her about it, she was like, I know, because when you was little, this happened. And, she said, I saw my grandmother, and I was 3 at the time, and she was doing my hair. And she said, I saw my grandmother, and I described her, and I called her by her name. My grandmother passed in 89. I was born in 91. And my grandmother was sitting right there on the bed. My mother's also gifted as well. My mother said she felt the bed go down, and like somebody had sat on the corner of the bed, and she said I turned around and I was, calling my grandmother's name and all of that stuff. And, but yeah, so I've always had the gift of sight and reading, always knowing things and knowing spiritual things and being able to read, feel, and see the spirits and the energy of certain people, knowing certain stuff is going to happen, certain things that has happened, being able to see the truth beyond the surface of things. Yeah, I've always had that gift since I was very young. Been a consultant since before I knew what a consultant was. You know what I'm saying? I was the child that, the older people would bring their boyfriends and stuff like that around and be like, what you think about him? How you feel about him? What you think? I was that person since I was very young. So with that being stated, I do not personally teach how to give readings, because when I give readings, it's not just pulling cards for me. Giving readings is, beyond just pulling cards. I read it first for me in my spiritual way. I read it first for me. And the cards is just a tool of confirmation. That's it. The cards are just a tool of confirmation. Okay? So, and really, I just do the cards sometimes just to make other people more comfortable. Because my people out there who have spiritual gifts and who know what it is, and this is, and to me, the way I'm explaining it may sound weird to some people, but if you go to church and you believe in prophets, and that's what I tell people who are Christian and they don't believe in, readers and we call it diviners, people who throw bones and cards and all that stuff. If they don't believe in that, but you'll believe in a prophet in the church, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. But people who know that experience, you also, that, how can I describe it? Moni, your comment came up. So sometimes that'll happen, you guys. I don't know why YouTube does that, but sometimes stuff will be retracted, but it says your comment is retracted, Moni, so I can't even, and that happened to quite a few people. I can't even say, see what it says. But yeah, like so people get uncomfortable. That's what I was saying as far as like being a reader. You know what I'm saying? People get uncomfortable with, you just knowing certain things. So because sometimes all they know is tarot cards, or all they know is a church prophet. So I really just do the cards sometimes just to make other people more comfortable, and stuff like that. So I don't really teach how to give readings because I don't really know how to teach a spiritual gift. I know how to help people identify their spiritual gift. But I don't, and then people who already know that they are a reader, I can, because I've had the gift and known I've had the gift for so long, and I've been okay with it for so long. I've learned how could I say, how to manage it, not allow the gift to overwhelm me. I've learned how to work with energy and work with spirit and stuff like that, so I can help people learn how to work with that, work with their gift if they already know they have it, and then I also can help people identify their spiritual gift. But I don't teach people how to do readings because I don't know how to teach you to do that. Now, if you want to like learn how to work with tarot cards and stuff like that, that's all about tapping into your spirituality, and you got to tap into your spirit guides. And this is my advice with working with tarot cards and stuff. Working with tarot cards and all of that stuff. I feel like a lot of people get tarot cards, when they are on a spiritual journey and they find themselves, wanting to practice spirituality and practice readings and stuff. They get tarot cards, which is okay if that's what you felt led to do. But tap into your intuition. Tap into your spirit guides. Tap into your ancestor wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And ask them to guide you on how to get there. I'm saying tarot card, y'all. You got I grew up in Brooklyn, Virginia, Georgia. Okay, so I got a little country twang. Okay, I lived in the South majority of my life. So I say it's tarot. What do you say? Tarot. I say tarot. Okay, tarot cards. But listen. Yes, tarot cards, tarot. How do you say tarot? Tarot. I say tarot cards. You know what I mean? Don't play with me. You know. But yeah, if you are going to work with tarot cards, you definitely want to be mindful of tapping into that intuition and tapping into your spirit guides first. And then you can ask them to guide you and to lead you into, of course you got to study your cards, study the meanings of cards, study the history of the type. There's so many different types of tarot cards, so many different types of decks, and all kind of stuff. There's so many ways to lay cards and throw cards, so many different, some people, it's infinite, so many different ways, but you got to find which one works best for you in the way that you read. You have to find what deck works best for you. I suggest that you get several different decks, you know what I'm saying? You say you from Houston. Oh no, tarot. You thought you were saying, Melissa, I thought you were saying the correct tarot card. I don't know. That sounds like how you say it, tarot. I don't know. Tarot card. Tarot. Okay. But yeah, you want to make sure that you get the deck that's best for you. I suggest you try out a few different decks. Before you settle on one. And then also, if you just want to check and make sure that the message is coming from spirit and not just from, whatever, make sure it's coming from spirit, I suggest that you cross read. So cross read would be use 2 or 3 different types of decks, and you make sure that you're getting the same messages from all the decks, so start with reading yourself or reading close people, close friends and stuff, people who are comfortable, but start at home first before you start trying to go out and do readings for other people, or and then when it comes to like money and charging and stuff like that, let spirit lead you on that. Let spirit lead you on that. For years, I did not charge for readings. For years, I did not charge for readings. For years. And to this day, I still do a lot of readings for free. or for very low donation based, but because that's just the contract I got between me and my spirit guides, you know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy because the last guy I was talking to, the one I told y'all about, he was, always talking about money and stuff like that. He knew what I do, I do a lot of, like I said, my schedule be packed. So I do a lot of like spiritual consultations and stuff like that during the day. And he'll be like, I hope you charging them. I hope you charging. I hope you get, and I don't. Like, I'm not saying I don't ever charge. So I definitely do charge sometimes, but I do a lot of donations and stuff like that. But you said you love the way I talk. Thank you. But I definitely do like donations and stuff like that. But I don't, I don't tax people, and that's because, once again, that's the contract I got between me and my spirit guides, me and my ancestors, and me and the universe. And thankfully, I don't want for anything. I don't tax people for nothing. And in God's will, I'm constantly being blessed, miraculously being blessed, and not from spiritual consultations either, you know what I'm saying, from other things and other resources. I'm just miraculously blessed, you know what I'm saying. But once again, because you got to do the right thing. You have to do the right thing. And the right thing is usually not the quick self-serving thing. The quick self-serving thing would be to tax for readings and to tax for, different stuff. That'd be the quick self-serving thing. But when you do the right thing, the universe shall provide for you abundantly. The universe will provide for you abundantly. And that's with anything in life. With anything in life. You know what I'm saying? Definitely know your worth. Definitely know your value. But anything in life, just do the right thing. Really do the right thing, and you will be blessed. You sometimes I just be looking at the universe like, wow, man, wow, like certain things that just happen. Kiara Sheard. I wanted to say Kiara Clark Sheard, but her mom is Karen Clark Sheard. I don't know if her name is, I don't know if Kiara is Kiara Clark Sheard, but Kiara Sheard, Kiki, she has this song, It Keeps Happening for Me. And y'all, that's like really my song, because it keeps happening for me. And it's in ways, like I be blessed in ways that from ways and from resources and things that you just never know. But when you do the right thing, when you put the right energy out, that's how it'll be. You know what I'm saying? That's how it'll be. That's how it'll be. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing. And you will forever be blessed. And you will forever be well. Okay? All right, y'all, I think that's pretty much it. Okay? It's been quite a long time. It's been a long time, over 2 hours. But it's a Sunday, and I made today a clear day because I knew I wanted to go live. And I wanted to have an unlimited amount of time for y'all today. Out of gratitude, especially because 7,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. Yes, discernment is another thing I'm working on. That spirit of discernment is real. Suck it, oh, suck it now. Hey, remember that? Oh, that used to be the jam. Oh, suck it now. Okay. If I could sing, y'all, let me tell y'all something. If I had the ability to sing, y'all would not be able to stand me. Okay? Y'all would not be able to stand me. God knew what he was doing. God knew. God said, let me tell you something. You can't be blessed with that. Because you're going to be too much. You're going to be too much for yourself. Okay? If I had the ability to sing, it'd be ridiculous. I could sing, it just don't sound good. Okay? Let me be mindful of my words. I could sing, it don't sound good. But if I could sing, y'all, I'd be too much for myself. Have you heard of the Book of Changes? The Book of Change. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of the Book of Changes. You get guidance that way too. I haven't heard of the Book of Changes. I'm gonna have to go back through when I watch this live. I'm gonna have to go back through with a pen and paper, because y'all been giving some great recommendations. How to tell the difference between discernment and imagination. That's a good one. Sometimes I can see what people are feeling and thinking about me or situations, even though their words too are different. Usually I am right. Okay, discernment versus imagination. I'll speak on that. I wouldn't go into this journey trying to read people. Absolutely. I agree with that, Moni. Self-discovery should be your goal. Then your unique gift will manifest. Come through, Moni. Come through, Moni Live. With the wisdom. Yes, leaves, bones, all of that. Absolutely. People can use different tools to read. A lot of, especially in like Ifa, Santeria, a lot of African traditional religions practitioners will do bone throwing and use bones for divination. Some people use candles, some people use fire and different things. Sometimes see things in my dreams that become manifest into reality. Some people, dreaming is a spiritual gift. You have dreamers, so you have seers, you have readers, you have dreamers. Dreaming is a spiritual gift, and that's the thing. For some people, dreams are their spiritual gift. Right, I agree with that, Moni. Shame because here. Okay, wait, let me go back. I'm gonna read Suki whole comment. She really got these 6. I had a packet of chips. Ended up giving them. What? Ended up. She's so happy. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna answer the question. It's probably gonna be my last question that I answered. The one about the discernment versus imagination. Wait, have I heard of a susu? I have heard of a susu. Okay, I have mixed feelings on the susu. I've heard of the susu. My friend actually, I've seen successful susus and I've seen not so successful susus. Thank you, Natty. I appreciate that love. I'm not a part of a susu though. Not because I don't believe in it or anything, but I just haven't been led to do a susu. But I know of people who have done successful susus. My friend actually, her man is a part of a susu, and I forgot the details, but I know he came up thousands of dollars, and the susu actually was a real thing, and it worked out. A susu essentially is like a communal saving method where you invest a certain amount of money, and you like bring people in, and you invest. Everybody invests a certain amount of money, and then the pot goes to a certain person every something like that. I don't know. I'm not a part of it, so I don't want to, I don't know, but something like that. I know she was saying that he invested a certain amount of money and he got back way more. Okay, but they have small ones, they have big ones. You could get in like a $200 susu, or you can get in a $3,000 susu or a $15,000 susu. They got different types, so definitely like look into that. But I don't want to join your susu. I haven't been led to join the susu. But yeah, if somebody reached out to you about a susu, triple check it, okay? Triple check it and verify it, because people be playing. But the last thing I'm gonna address, telling the difference between discernment and imagination. That's big, you guys. Discernment versus imagination. And I say that that's big because, y'all, we don't realize how much we project. We don't realize how much we project. The way that we perceive things oftentimes is determined by our experience with that thing. I can perceive this as a water bottle because I've been taught that this is a water bottle. I can perceive this as a microphone because I've been taught that this is a microphone. I can perceive this as a napkin because I've been taught that this is a napkin. Okay? We've all been taught things, and we've all been conditioned to believe certain things. And quite often, we perceive things and we are mistaken, especially when it comes to people, especially when it comes to words. In order to know the difference between discernment and imagination, is you have to step out of what you already know. You have to step out of what you already know. You have to step out of your experience with that word, with that behavior. Some people, I'll say eye rolling. Somebody could roll their eyes, and because your experience with eye rolling, you've been conditioned, you've been taught that eye rolling is disrespectful. So somebody rolls their eyes at you and you take it, you perceive it as disrespect because that's what you've been taught. However, you don't know what their intention is. You don't know what their why is. Once again, when you think of intention, think of the why. You don't know what their why is of why they're rolling their eyes. But because you've been conditioned to believe that that is disrespectful, you perceive it as disrespect. And then sometimes, as spiritual people, we would say, I don't even like saying like as spiritual people, but people who are just, tapped into spirituality. As spiritual people, sometimes we'll say, my spirit told me, my spirit led me to think. But sometimes it's not your spirit, it's your experience. Okay, it's not your spirit, it's your conditioning. Okay? You saw something or you heard something and you are associating that with the prior experience. Somebody messed up and they forgot a certain detail of something, and in your mind you label them as a liar. Nah, last time they told that story, they said they got out the car on the left-hand side. This time they said it was the right-hand side. That bitch be lying. No, you don't know that. You don't know. You've just been taught that means that he or she is a liar. You've been taught that this behavior or this thing means that we've been taught these things. We've all been conditioned, and that's to say that that's a bad thing, but to know the difference between discernment and imagination is you got to step out of your conditioning. When I listen to people, I listen with the intention to understand, not based on my experience, but based on their intention. And sometimes, quite often, I will even have to ask people, what do you mean? In a respectful way, not aggressive, because sometimes we gotta watch how we say, like, it's the difference between being like, so what's that mean? What that supposed to mean? Okay, well, what you mean by that? It's the difference between doing that and saying, I'm not sure if I fully understand. Can you clarify a little bit? That's like my favorite word. I'll say, can you clarify a little bit? I'm not really sure. I don't think I'm taking accountability. I don't think I'm quite understanding. I don't think I'm receiving that the way that you're trying to give it. Can you just like clarify a little bit, or what's your intention behind that? Because when you are trying to read a situation, you can't read it based on your experience. You got to start everybody with a blank slate. It's a thing called tabula rasa. Tabula rasa is the philosophy that we are all born as a blank slate. Tabula rasa, it's the whole thing of people, people believing that Eve bit the apple in the Bible. Eve bit the apple, so we are all born in sin. And then you have the philosophy of tabula rasa, which is we are all born with a blank slate. So tabula rasa, you got to start everybody tabula rasa. You got to start everybody with a blank slate. Do not apply your prior experience onto other people. Do not project your prior experience onto other people, because you will misread some people. You will misread some people. You will misread some conversations. Quite oftentimes in conversation and communication will be fucked up and it'll break down, because instead of listening to understand, you listening based off of what you know and what you already think based off your experience. So you end up projecting. Okay, and it breaks down communication. If you want to be able to discern as opposed to project, take out your experience. Now, discernment, you can have discernment in multiple ways, but if you want to be able to spiritually discern a situation, remove your experience and you got to ask your spirit guides to step forth and show you. Remove your experience and ask your spirit guides to step forth and show you. And one of my favorite sayings and one of my favorite prayers, make it plain. I get that from Malcolm X. There's a documentary on YouTube too, it's free, watch it if you can, called Make It Plain, and it's a Malcolm X documentary. And that was what he would tell people before they introduced him, his brothers, his comrades, his colleagues. They would introduce him to the podium and introduce him to the to speak and stuff like that. he would say, just make it plain. He didn't want all the accolades and all that stuff. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. The accolades and stuff. He didn't want that. Or, he didn't want you bragging on him before he would speak, before he would go. He just say, make it plain, introduce me. Coming forth is Brother Malcolm X, and he would step up. But for me, I love that statement really impacted me. And when I pray that, and when I speak to my ancestors and speak to my spirit guides, and I'm tapping into my discernment, I say, make it plain. And me saying make it plain is because I don't want any confusion between my ego, my experience, and my spirit. I don't want any confusion. So I said a lot, but I'm basically, just to break it down and make it plain, tabula rasa. Start everybody. You said I talk a lot. Thank you. I know. But I making it plain. I start everybody tabula rasa. Start everybody with a blank slate. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt. People who say, oh, I don't trust people. I have trust issues. I don't trust people. First off, if you know that you have trust issues, you need to start doing the healing work to heal your trust issues, okay? If you don't trust people, I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but if you don't trust people, it's probably because you don't trust yourself. That's a projection. When you say you don't trust people, that's a sign that you don't trust yourself with your own emotions. You don't trust your own decision making. You don't trust yourself to do the right thing. So if you really want to be able to differentiate between discernment and imagination and projection, you want to start everyone with a blank slate. And to start everyone with a blank slate, you got to trust. You got to trust that they will do the right thing. You got to trust that they are aware and mindful of wellness. You got to trust. Okay? So start everybody with the blank slate. Remove your experience. That's number one. Number two, ask your spirit guides to make it plain. Make it plain. And believe them. Believe them. When you get the signs, believe it. Believe it, believe it, believe it. When you get the signs, when you ask your spirit guides to make it plain, they will make it plain. Don't overread to the signs, but believe people when they say, what Maya Angelou, when someone tells you who they are, believe them, okay? I was recently talking to, I be dating, I be out here, y'all, I be dating, okay? When I was recently talking to this guy, he told me our first conversation, he said 3 times in 3 different ways that he ain't all there, okay? The first time he said, well, I got a lot of issues, and I think a lot, and I sometimes I get a little possessive. Ooh, red flag. Same conversation. He said, well, I'm missing a few screws. Red flag. Same conversation. I be bugging. Sometimes I get a little crazy. Nigga, no. No. I asked spirit to make it plain. I asked the ancestors to make it plain. How plain can you get? How low can you go? Okay? How plain can you get? Okay, it'll be that plain. That's why you gotta have a good communication with your spirit guides, a good communication with your ancestors, okay? Because you ask them to make it plain, they're gonna put it in your face. You know what I'm saying? People gonna show you who they are. They gonna tell you who they are. Sometimes they ain't even got to show you, they gonna tell you, and then they gonna show you, okay? But oftentimes we ignore it. So all of that is a part of discernment. It's about starting everybody at a blank slate. Trusting that everybody will do right. Everybody will do well. Everybody is here for good things. Trusting that first. And then, you said what? I be biting. But, like everybody, you say, I be bugging. That's New York shit. I be bugging. That's what, that's what everybody say. But, the thing about it is like, just trusting that people are going to do the right thing and people are here for the right reasons. We really, really have to trust that. But also when somebody shows you who they are, yes, trust but verify. Absolutely, Moni. When somebody shows you who they are and they tell you who they are, believe them. Believe it. You know, your spirit guides will make it plain. When you walk into a room, if the vibe is off, you're going to feel it. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. You don't need to see nothing. You won't need for anybody to say nothing. You'll feel it. You'll feel that something, especially if your spirit is clear though. Especially if your spirit is clear. Tabula rasa. You got to come in with the blank slate. You can't walk into a room with anxiety. You already got anxiety. You already feeling anxious. And you walk into a room and you like, something in here ain't right. Something in here is off. Nah. You tabula rasa. You wasn't at a blank slate. You wasn't pure. You came in anxious. So of course something ain't gonna feel right. Keep in mind, blank slate, okay? So you want to know that discernment, you got to come in with a blank slate. You got to come in pure. You got to come in clean. Hey, Shauna, you got to come in clean. You got to come in pure. You know, if you want to be able to read a room, come in spiritually grounded, spiritually well. And then when you feel that shift, you feel that shift in energy, you know for sure that that's the vibe, that's the energy that's here. You got that inclination and you can move based on, you know, your discernment. But don't project. Absolutely know thyself. Don't project, okay? So that's just my little bit of advice, you know. Blank slate, make it plain. Pray, make it plain. That's anything I pray in, make it plain. If it's meant for me, show me, make it plain. What's going on here? Spirit guides, I need a sign. Make it plain. Should I be doing this? Is this the right thing to do? Make it plain. Really add that to your prayer. Make it plain. Because, you know, sometimes, you know, like Papa Legba is a trickster. You know, Eshu, he's a trickster. You know, he comes in the form of the playful child, you know. So, you know, you have to be mindful of that. So sometimes things are happening in riddles and in tricks and different things and stuff, you know, and you just got to be mindful that, you know, sometimes you got to, spirit, make it plain. Now, show me. Just put it in my face, okay? I ain't got time to be solving no riddles today, okay? Just put it in my face. But that's my little recommendation. All right, y'all. So I'm out. For real, okay? For real. It's been a long time. And so, my gloss ain't really, I was about to shout out my little gloss combination, but it really ain't. This top lip ain't popping like a quilt, so I ain't gonna shout it out. But this was a combination of different stuff. Do you still see your plan of opening up a shop in the future? Yes, Bella, I absolutely do. I actually purchased some stuff. I would show y'all my house right now, but I don't know. I have boxes everywhere. I've like purchased some stuff for my online store. I want to open up an online botanica where you guys can be able to just like, you know, purchase certain things and you know, just different things like for your altars and herbs and stuff like that. It's a lot of boxes in here. So I'm in the process. It's going to be coming sooner than you think, okay? Sooner than you think, Bella. The shop will be there. And my biggest thing is, once again, I just want to make sure that everything is like reasonably priced. So I'm still looking for resources, spaces where I can get stuff at a reasonable rate so that way I can reasonably price stuff. And then also shipping, you guys. I've been really like trying to speak to different people who sell products online about how they ship, because I also I opened up an account with ShipStation, and I also was looking into Shippo, but you guys, shipping is so expensive, and I know how I am. I call my frugal fancy. I call myself frugal fancy. Okay, I like cute stuff, but I like it at a discount. Okay, I'm very, very frugal with how I spend a coin. All right, very frugal. I can't say it enough. I'm thrift store queen. Okay, you probably will very rarely ever see me have anything on that ain't come from a thrift store. Thrift store queen, discount shopper, okay, coupon, everything, okay, that's just me. And when I go to shop online and I see that somebody has a shipping cost that's crazy, that's a turn off for me, and I probably won't buy the product. I probably will not buy the product. If your shipping is out of control, I probably won't buy it. So, okay, shout out to all my frugal fancies out there, So I'm trying to also find a good way to be able to ship to you guys that shipping will not be crazy. When I signed up with ShipStation, I actually think I'm going to cancel my contract with them. No, not the ShipStation. I actually, they set you up with a consultant. I have to reach out to my consultant because I was looking over some prices. And like for me to ship, I live in New York. For me to ship from New York to Georgia was like $15. Who the hell paying $15 to ship any damn thing? If somebody wants to buy a candle and a bundle of sage, you should not have to pay $10, $15 for no damn shipping rate. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. So I have to find a way. I'm currently investigating a way to be able to ship to you guys at a reasonable price, because I don't want you to purchase a $8 bundle of sage and you got to pay $15 for shipping. To me, that's stupid. I don't want to have you, oh, you want some oil or something like that, and it's a 5-ounce or a 1-ounce oil, and you got to pay $8 to ship 1 ounce of oil. That's $5. I don't. That's crazy. So that's the aspect I'm working on. If y'all have any recommendations, or y'all know anybody who does product shipping, let me know. I follow Darius Cooks. If you don't follow Darius Cooks, he's a chef, okay? Shout out to anybody who follows Darius Cooks. I follow Darius Cooks on Instagram, and he goes live a lot, like daily almost, and he talks about business a lot. And right now he's selling pound cakes, right? So he's selling pound cakes, and I'm telling y'all a lot of information, but he's selling pound cakes, and his pound cakes are $50, and his shipping is $15 for the pound cake. To me, that's $65 for a pound cake. To me, $50 is already a lot for a pound cake. But know your worth, brother. Everybody say the pound cakes are amazing. Know your worth, okay? Y'all support if you can. But $50 is already a lot for a pound cake. If you were contemplating paying $50, I feel like when you click on that site and you see that shit go up to $65 after you add the shipping, that's really like $65 is too, for me, frugal fancy, $65 is too close to $100. Okay, $100 for a pound cake, that's a little bit too much for me, but he is selling out. So there are a lot of people who will buy. But I want to make stuff, especially, doing spiritual work. I want to make the Botanica stuff accessible to everyone. I want to make it accessible to everyone. I don't want it to be an elitist thing. You know what I'm saying? I want everyone to, no matter what your economic situation is, I want you to be in a position where it's affordable for everybody. So the store is taking so long because I'm being when I do it, I want to do it right. I've definitely, I'm an Aquarius as a motherfucker, so I'm very impulsive, and I've been, I've self-deprecated in the past where I've made an impulsive decision, which was a good decision, but I wasn't able to do it the best that I could because I just jumped in head first and didn't investigate the way I need to. So when I do this online store, I want to do it right. I want to do it right. So I'd rather take my time and do it right than have to backtrack. That's where I am. But the online store is coming. In the meantime, I'm not even going to say that. I was going to recommend a sister friend of mine who has an online Botanica, but she's going through some life transitions right now, and I just recommended somebody to her online Botanica, and they still haven't received their products, and they got mad at me and reached out to me because they didn't receive their products from my sister friend. And I'm like, I told you she was going through some stuff. I don't have nothing to do with that, but I had to, I'm intervening anyway, but I don't, so I'm gonna check on her and see how her stuff is doing, and if she's okay, and if she's okay, if she's like back to her regular business, then I'll definitely like put her stuff in the description box and share that information. You said, no girl, I'll wait. Okay. Oh, you said looking at my ring reminded you. Thank you so much. I'm definitely like, I'll be selling jewelry. Most of my jewelry, you guys, I make, and I'll be selling jewelry in there as well, but that'll come over time. I want to launch the spiritual products first, like the Botanica stuff first, and then you said she is also a former YouTuber. Oh, you gave Natty, she gave a Botanica recommendation. Talk to This said Marie, she ships Naughty Girl Club. Okay. I'll reach out to her. Desire Marie. She ships Naughty Girl Club. Thank you, Natty, for that. Like I said, I'm going to go back and read y'all comments because y'all gave a lot of documentary recommendations and book recommendations and stuff like that. And I want to go back and read all of that. All right, y'all. I'm about to really get off now because I am hot. You see, I'm on a little... I have to turn my AC off when I go live because it's so darn... My AC is loud, okay? And if I had the damn AC on, y'all, it'd sound like a car exhaust, okay? It'd sound like a muffler, all right? You would not be able to hear nothing. I'm saying, I had went live on, you said I wiped all my gloss off. I know, right? I might as well just go ahead and do the full swipe, but I don't want to be out here looking like, y'all, I'm so inappropriate sometimes. My mind just be inappropriate. But, you know, I don't want to look like, I don't want to have lip gloss around my mouth. Okay. Out the gutter. I gotta stop. Anyway, I'm getting off now, okay? I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for sticking around and just, you know, for engaging and watching this and liking and subscribing and all that stuff. 7,000. I'm so excited. Hey, Brandy girl. I'm so excited about that. I'm very appreciative to everybody who's been here from early days, you know. I appreciate y'all so much. Everybody who's new, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, just for taking this journey with me, y'all, and taking this ride. And you know, the intention is still the same with my YouTube. You know, the intention is just to be open and just to share and just chat like I just did, you know what I'm saying, for over 2 hours, you know what I'm saying, and just really like just share and be out here and, you know, let's just talk and just grow together, just sharing my journey, and information I learned as I go on my journey, okay? And join the wellness community if you would like to. Once again, it's just a safe space to be able to learn and share resources and grow and get, you know, resource recommendation, book recommendations, documentary recommendations, herb recommendations, principles of the practice, to discuss all to work, have a group chat or a space where you can check in and, you know, if you're contemplating something or if you have a question, you can do that. It's only $5 a month to be in a wellness community. Okay, and thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody. I hope y'all have a good week. Of course, I'll be back on YouTube sometime this week. But thank y'all. Much love, everybody. I am hungry. I'm about to eat something. Okay, I don't know what I'm about to eat, but I'm about to eat something. Y'all, let me tell you about this quarantine. Okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm really getting off. Okay, this quarantine, when it comes to cooking, okay, baby. Okay, cooking and eating, cooking. Okay, I have had to stop myself from cooking so much damn shit. Okay, my ass, if you follow me on Instagram, you know at the beginning I had got into a cook. You said the apple thing? Yes, Snotty. I got into a cooking spree where I was cooking so much shit. But when you cook, you eat, goddamn. Okay, and my ass gained 13 pounds. Okay, it got to the point where I looked at my jeans in the closet. I was about to put my jeans on, and I feel like they looked at me and said, "Bitch, don't you even try it. Bitch, don't you even think about putting on these damn jeans." Okay, I had to stop and push back from the stove, not just the table, but from the stove. Okay, because I will get on these little rampages where I'm like, oh, I want to try to make this, I want to try to make that, you know, and I love veganizing stuff. So I love, like, you know, seeing recipes or, like, you know, just regular stuff, and I'm like, oh, I can make a vegan version of that. And then I start getting ideas, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I can replace that with oat flour or coconut flour, and I can use the vegan butter, and let me see what that's like. That's how the apple empanadas came about, you know, all kind of stuff, y'all. And I had to push back from the damn stove. Okay, so I am working on getting these extra pounds off. Okay, even though I don't mind it, you guys. I took a video yesterday, let me tell you. Okay, your girl, and the pounds don't went to the right places, you know what I'm saying? But They still don't need to be here. Okay, I had to tell myself, just because some people may carry weight well, it don't mean that you need to carry it. Okay, just because I carry the weight well, don't mean I need to carry it. And that's what. So I'm working to get these pounds off. You said cook and give it away, and that's the thing I usually do. I will cook and give it away. I will cook and share. But the thing is, when you cooking, you got to taste test. You gotta try it. Like when I made the apple empanadas, I made 12 and I only ate 2 out of the 12 and I gave the rest away. And then some of them went to waste, y'all. That's another thing. Like sometimes it's wasteful. But I ate 2. But still, I didn't even need those damn 2. That's the problem. I didn't need them 2. Okay? And then plus, I didn't need them 2. I don't know, and I'm celibate right now, so my physical activity ain't up where it used to be. That's the problem. I need to uncelibatize myself because that's my way of working out. That's my exercise that I enjoy. So I need to uncelibatize myself so I can get physically active again, and then I'll be able to eat like that. But in the meantime, during this celibacy, I got to stop. Okay, I got to stop. Okay, my workout ain't working out like that no more. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it like that. Yeah. So I want to make sure when I get back on it, I can last. I'm just saying. I'm just being real. I want to make sure that when I get back on it, I can last. I don't want to be like, I need a break. Okay? I don't want to be lazy. So I'm going to push back from the stove. But all right, y'all. See, I done been on too long because I'm telling too much of my damn business. Okay? I already done told y'all every damn thing. I'm telling too much. Okay? So I got to go. I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching and joining. Much love to all of y'all, okay? Bye.